Music licensing reimagined. Long time coming, like on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying to selling to customers. Run up the business, God is my witness. Sun up the sun up from Monday to Sunday. We maxing the limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving the mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation. I'm finessing a visit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Stat Diggers for UFC 316. We have Dvalishvili going against Sean O'Malley 2, and it feels good. I mean, these last two cards, we're in the apex, not the best cards on paper, but on paper, I mean, this UFC 316 card is just fire, man. I mean, lots of great fights, lots of non-competitive fights. Like, that's the only thing, only knock on this card I'd say is if you're a fan of big favorites and chalky parlays, I mean, this is your card. We have a ton of big, giant, massive favorites here, but not a ton of competitively lined fights. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can find some spots on this card. But yeah, on paper, this card is, I think it's absolutely going to deliver. Wheezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to UFC 316?
Yeah, after these last two, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. There's some fun fights and some really good fighters, too. That heavyweight matchup between Cortez-Acosta and Spivac is going to be a fun one. And yeah, the main card's great. And Sean O'Malley versus Dvalishvili, that can headline anywhere around the world. So I think it's going to be a really fun card to break down from a stylistic component, from a fan perspective. But it's going to be rough from a gambling perspective because we got a lot of blown out lines, a lot of like minus 300 favorites that are priced at minus 500 right now. So it's going to be a rough one to find the spots, but if we can find them, I think we're going to make some money and enjoy like a really, really high level fight card. So I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you guys tonight.
Yep, me as well. We have so much to talk about. People in the chat, they're wondering. I see a lot of people saying, first of all, we're never late. I agree with that. But a lot of people are asking, where's the poll? There's so many people that need help. Where is the poll? And the problem I'm having, guys, with the poll, because I was going to do it, the problem I'm having, Wheezy, is there are so many people that need help from last night that I couldn't put together 4 names to put on the poll. So I'm going to need your guys' help in the chat. Who should I put in the poll for who needs help? And I need help, Wheezy. Who should I put in the poll for who needs help?
Well, it's got to be Macy Barber's got to be one of the people that need help. There's no question about that.
I had her as one of the people, one of the 8 people. I wrote down 8 names. I kid you not. I wrote down 8 names, and I had to try to put the top 4 out of those 8 onto the poll.
It was a rough one. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people had a rough night last night, including me as a gambler again, because I'm on a losing streak and it continued. But I mean, like, so I think your Uncle Wheezy needs some help. I think Macy Barber needs help. I think Billy Goff might need a little bit of help, but he ran into the Albanian Conor McGregor. So while he did lose, I mean, it was definitely one of those ones that maybe we can forgive him for it. I mean, Minty Betts got kind of stuck on the teleprompter, which was a little bit weird. I know a lot of people are freaking out about that one. What referees? Were there any referees that didn't?
Referees did fine. Referees did. Jason Herzog wasn't there, so yeah. Referees did good.
I think they were pretty good, man. But we only wound up with 9 fights. Dude, I want Markel Mederos on the list because I want to know why this guy gets to pull out of fights on fight week, claiming he can't fight on Saturday, but then is always available to take a fight either 7 or 14 days later after the fight that he's contractually obligated to be in. So what the hell is going on with Markel Mederos? Why is he fighting Mark the Shark Choinski this week when he just had a fight scheduled for yesterday against Balaji, which he pulled out of? What is going on here? So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the UFC needs help. Maybe Markel Mederos has pictures of Dana White doing something bad, or I don't know if he's like the illegitimate son of somebody that's extremely powerful. I don't know what's going on with Markel Mederos, but this guy's like skipping the line and pulling out of fights and cherry picking opponents. Either he's got the best manager in the world or like he's got information on somebody and he's definitely kind of working that blackmail angle here to get the best possible fights.
Yeah, I mean, Mederos needs help. Like Officer Trevin Giles needs help as well, right? I mean, so many people
forgot about that.
Like this dude, like there was an officer down just a day too early, there. All right, so it's tough. So I'll put Macy Barber, Billy Ray Goff. What did Chris Tione do? What happened to Chris Tione? Did he do something?
I don't know. Not sure what happened there.
Rihanna Amanda dos Santos.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, we said last week on Stat Tickers, if you're laying minus 300 on this girl, it's time to have another hobby because you know what the hell you're doing.
I want to put Officer Trevin Giles on here. Officer Trevin Giles, and then we'll put, dude, I don't know, man. Macy Chazon needs some help.
She got smoked pretty good, man. Yeah. Like in both times, she kind of like she had top position, but then got reversed and then just wound up on bottom and then just couldn't get back up both times. Vieira's got a good top game, though. If she gets on top of you, she tends to stay there. She's position over submission. And it was a good performance for Vieira because, let's face it, that's a really rough opponent. And not only that, she was the one, Vieira, who showed up like Chason cut down to 135. Ketlin didn't. So maybe that was a little bit of cheating on the Vieira side that may have helped her, because of the weight. However, that fight got switched to 145. We didn't find out about it as gamblers until weigh-in day, right?
Yeah.
So that was weird.
So I ended up putting Minty. A lot of people in the chat saying Minty. I wasn't going to put her on there because it's really not her fault. Like, she's just doing her job. But it was very, very bad. I did feel bad, but it was a very bad look. So yeah, it was
weird, but we're not television people, so we have no idea what was going on the other side there that we couldn't see that might have gotten her, so I have no clue. I really don't. I would never want to be on TV either. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, like, this is so much easier, Brady. just going live and talking, no script, no makeup, nobody dressing you up in a suit and telling you and giving you cues and this and that. We just get to talk here. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. So I don't think it was Minty's fault, but it wasn't. It was weird. Like a weird situation there. So I put Macy Barber, Billy Ray Goff, Officer Trevin Giles, and then Minty Betts. We'll kind of go through the chat and then we will close the poll and see who needs to get the most help after UFC Vegas 107. Before we get into it, though, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. We go live every Sunday, 10:15 Eastern time. We are never a minute late. We're never a second late. If anything, we're on time. And I think we showed up a couple minutes early tonight for you guys just because we care about you guys and we want to do our best there. We also have to shout out a couple things. We have so much things to talk about tonight. First, we got to shout out the sponsor of Stat Diggers, and that is none other than our guy, Avery. Shout out to Avery. Guys, give him a follow at MMA_Very on X. And I'm thinking about maybe heading out to Nashville in July. I'm thinking about it. And Avery is, I believe, from Nashville, so it would be cool to meet up with him. But I know for a fact that Avery's going to the card in Chicago. But yeah, looking forward to meeting Avery live in person, the sponsor of Stat Diggers. Guys, go give him a follow there. And we have breaking news.
Yes.
Kennedy Nzechukwu is back. He's back. They announced that he'll be fighting who?
Walter Walker. He's got Walter Walker. Yeah.
And it was hilarious. As soon as that fight was announced, he had like 10 people tagged. I know like a lot of people tagged you. People messaged me on Instagram. Like, he's okay. Thank God. Shout out to Kennedy Nzechukwu. He's well. He's alive. And you love to see it. All right, let's hit up the chat and then we'll get to our recap there. So the first one in the building, and there has to be like over 100 messages in here, so we'll try to get through it as quickly as possible. It took me like 2 minutes to scroll up. We have Vaughn, first one in the building, checking in from Twitter, from X. Shout out to Vaughn. Good to see you in there. We got Dylan saying, get some help. Dusko and Zachary Reese, get some help. Billy Goff, get some help. Macy Barber, get some help. Get some help. Indeed, we got Daz in here. We got our guy, Lou Sassoli. We don't see Lou in here as often as I'd like to see. But yeah, big fan of Lou. If you guys if you guys are a big fan of Cox and Balls and Sydney Sweeney, go follow our guy, Lou Sassoli. I know Lou Sassoli is a big fan of Sydney Sweeney. He posts her probably every single day. We got Casey. Good to see you in here saying, I'm here, so they're clearly late. No, that's not true. That's not true. Get some help. Rando Santos, agree. Buster Cherry, Minty Betts, get some help. We got Jackie saying the one or the who needs to get help list could have been up to 8 people. It could have been this week. I got to get Wheezy and Brady on WikiFeet, so can y'all show us those bunions? Come on, man. Billy Ray Goof, yes. We'll talk about that fight. Yeah, Josh Van Fight Week. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Barber got mentally and physically milked minutes before the fight even started. Billy Ray Goff, get some help and like and subscribe, you filthy animals. Appreciate you, Forrest. We got TH saying it's time. Stat Digger Sundays, yes, sir. I need pipings and milkings. There wasn't a piping last night, but there was certainly a milking. We'll touch on that. We were not late, Daz. We were not late. Yes, Spivac. Spivac. He's the oldest fighter in the UFC, over 1,000 years old. I'm making his return. Hopefully he'll be fighting at nighttime, because if he's fighting during the day, he's getting sparked. Brady's always, that's just not true. Billy Goff got cooked. He got put to sleep. I mean, it was bad. Levitt was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Never late. We got kind of conflicting messages in the chat. Some people are saying we're late. Some people are saying we're not late. I don't think we're late. The poll is up now. Sorry about that. No poll needed. Unanimous victory for Barber. We'll see. We got, Stat Digger's holding it down. Big up, Wheezy. Big up, Brady. Big up to you. Good to see you in here. I'm early. Oh, we got Slips and Rip saying he's on the Shark. He's on the Shark.
Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark. Heck yeah. Free Dumas. What do you think? Should we free him or should we leave him in there?
No, man. I mean, like, I'm telling you, those are trumped up charges, Brady. Like the guy just either seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or maybe he's just made the enemy of the wrong. But I mean, like we said it last week, if we had a nickel for every time that we got caught in a dog crate in our ex-girlfriend's place that we had assaulted dozens of times, we'd be in prison too, Brady. So, I mean, I think that this is just a case of being caught in the wrong dog crate at the wrong time, and that can happen to anybody.
Yeah, I know. I've been in my fair share of dog crates. That's for sure. Aussie's saying he's free, and I also heard that from somebody else. I think he might be free.
Yeah, I think he's got a good lawyer, You
got to have a good lawyer for getting arrested, 15 times. I mean, that's...
Yeah, arrested 15 times, but exonerated 15 times, Brady, So that's the justice system working. The Hood Wolf back on the streets of Tallahassee. I'm fired up to see what's next for this young man.
Yeah, me too, I guess. Did they cut him yet? I think he's still on the roster. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, they just got to make sure that they have a lot of Florida fight cards, because I don't think he's allowed to leave the state, which is probably bullshit if you think about it. But, we're not going to be seeing Abu Dhabi Dumas, in any short period of time, it looks like. But we'll let the justice system work here, and we'll see what's next for this kid.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We got the man behind the Andrade pictures. It's our guy, Marcel. Good to see you, Marcel. We got Chuckle saying, yeah, Kennedy is alive and well, and he'll be fighting in the very near future. We got Dravi in the building. Good to see you, Dravi. The poll is now up. Goff needs some help. Shout out Stat Diggers. Staple, appreciate you, Cole Stein. Even Kennedy doesn't need as much help as Macy Barber. We got Dogfather, just in time, never late. I agree. Yeah, we're early. We got Sacha H in the building saying, I don't want to hear about milk today. Please, no milk. Well, Sacha, I got bad news for you. If you don't want to hear about milk, you're on the wrong show. Go check out another show, because there's going to be a lot of milk and there was a lot of milk last night in the octagon.
Dude, that's gonna piss off the milkman in our chat too. Asking, he's gonna be looking to fight Sasha H on site.
No milk. What? What? Weezy and Brady, please take a second to tell everyone to stop hating on Gamrot. He is fun. Yeah, Gamrot's good, man. I don't know why people.
Hell of a fighter.
Yes, somebody I saw on Twitter was like, "Cut Gamrot." Like he just
what?
He just won the fight. What do you mean, cut Gamrot?
He won all 3 rounds. You don't want to cut him. Come on.
Moderators, let's not let stuff like this is a threat. This is a Colton G level threat. Let's not let stuff like this get through. I did need help for sure.
Yeah.
Rayon must. Yeah, she needs help. We all know she needs help though. Let's see. My bankroll needs help.
Mine too, dude.
My bank account needs help. Billy Ray just got caught in a choke. Yes, yeah, he did. He sure did. Macy Chazon needs some help potentially. Dusko and Race needs help. I mean, that fight, how awful was that fight? It was just terrible.
No. Yeah. I mean, it was what do you call it? I mean, it was a 50-50 fight, but yeah, like they both were so tired after the first round. They were both completely dead.
It's terrible. We got Terry. What's up, Terry? Saying best MMA show on the web. Easy. I catch it live every week and never late. God bless you guys. Appreciate the kind words, Terry. Appreciate you. Best card of the year on paper. I hope you're talking about this card 316 and not Vegas 107 because I can agree with that. Officer Giles needs a life. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Officer down. So Tyone was reffing the golf or the golf fight.
Okay.
9-hole fights. Let's see. Minty couldn't finish her prop bet till the prop came back. I could have sworn you two had makeup on here, bro. I actually fired my hair and makeup a while ago.
Mine always was gone. I'm too big of a prima donna.
Yeah, you were out with friends, Weezy, but they started the card like it said 6:30. They were starting the first fight didn't kick off till like 7:10, and they were showing like Aaron Blanchfield pickleball highlights within those first 30 minutes. I was like, you got to be kidding me! You absolutely have to be kidding me! I do not want to be watching Aaron Blanchfield play pickleball. I just really don't. It's
crazy. I can't believe that. Yeah, that's how you know they got the pacing a little bit wrong, and we lost the Gustafsson Giles fight. So that's when you get those promos that nobody wants to see.
They were really reaching at pickleball. I don't understand. Gangbang, is Brady going to be there? You know, when there's a gangbang, you know Brady's around. I'm just kidding. We got Big Show. What's up, Big Show? Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well, buddy. Sweeney definitely. What? Moderators.
Well, no, he's saying that, you know, like, because you were saying that Luce Foley's always posting cock and Sydney Sweeney, and he's just like letting people know that never the twain shall meet there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was my bad then. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
We won feet. Well, you came to the right show. You came to the right show. All right, what else we got in here? We got Iceland Forest. Good to see you. We got Joseph saying Sugar Sean's going to KO Kermit the Frog. Let's go. Oh no, Stepper, I'm stuck in the dog crate. Oh God. Oh my God. Yo, Brady, do you like my name? No, I do not, Mr. Edge. Especially not on Pride Month. Come on. Officer Giles got milked by the scale. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. How many pints of milk? Maybe just 2 pints?
A couple pints. Yeah. One for me, one for you.
Get out of here. We got Alexis with the 199 saying this show is better than the UFC. Maybe better than last night's card.
Maybe better than last night. I think so, man.
All right.
There you go.
Let's get that comment off of the screen. All right, let's do a recap of last night. So I actually posted a recap on my channel for the cards. I think I'm going to start doing that going forward. But this was my lightest night of the year, and I think it was Wheezy's lightest night of the year as well. So I exercised some very good bankroll management. With that said, I still did very poorly. Kicked off the night with the Smasher TV play of the week. It was Rayon dos Santos to win by sub plus 510 for a half a unit. I knew it going in. I mean, she's a complete idiot. And to her credit, though, she actually tried to wrestle, but it was some of the worst setup takedown attempts you'd ever see in your entire life. It looked like she never attempted a takedown ever before. And Ardeline went out there and like 30-27 her as a pretty big dog. So shout out to anybody on the Ardeline side. That was a pretty sweat-free cash. I mean, Rayon dos Santos looked completely horrible, and she'll be getting her walking papers, and she cannot hurt me anymore. Rayon dos Santos, you cannot hurt me anymore. I had the fight ends by submission in the Nascimento-Filho fight. I actually like that bet. Nascimento, I thought, would maybe get Filho out of there late. Didn't really even try to. They officially credited him with one submission attempt in the third round. Don't think it was that close. The closest submission attempt was Filho in that mounted guillotine at the end of the first round. But yeah, didn't mind. The fight ends by sub. The fight played out exactly how I thought. The fight would take place on the ground. It did. And there were submission attempts back and forth over the course of 15 minutes. But both guys defensively sound. And Filio's gas tank hold held up a lot better than I thought. And this is kind of what ruined my night was the Reese Todorovic fight. I had the fight won't start round 3 in a parlay. And then I had the Todorovic half unit shot by knockout. And yeah, I mean, that fight going 15 minutes just completely shocked me just due to the fact that these two are probably two of the most fragile guys in the division. The fight was god-awful. I thought it was a close fight. It was 29-28 across the board for Reese. But, that fight, like nobody did anything the entire time. It was hard to watch. Probably the worst fight on the entire card on a pretty lackluster night. So I that fight really hurt me there. I had the under 2.5 in the Jacoby Lopez fight. For 1 unit, and I actually got reverse CLV'd, and I got it like minus 115. It closed at like plus 115, so got reverse CLV'd, but the under hit. Lopez got hurt by a jab and then finished shortly after. I had Billy Ray Goff KO 2-3 plus 370. Really liked that read. I thought that Ramiz would have some success in the some success in the first round with the grappling, maybe land some big shots. And he did have some success. I mean, he took Billy Ray Goff's back in the first round. Billy Ray Goff was able to get out of that position. And then for some reason, I'm not sure why, Billy Ray Goff proceeded to, not disengage in the clinch. And I think he tried to take down Brahimaj a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. And he got guillotined and put to sleep. So I kind of was expecting or hoping at least that fight got to the second round. Because if it got to the second round, we kind of knew it was going to happen. But Ramiz, he won, and he won by his win condition, which was a first-round sub. And then had nothing on the Gamrot fight. I guess the only thing I did wrong last night was probably passing on Gamrot. I was looking at it all week, minus 150. Also passed on Vieira, but I just didn't really want to get involved after the whole hospital narrative thing. So, but yeah. Overall, not a great night. Kept it light, but apparently just not light enough. Just not light enough. That Dusko fight going the distance really ruined my night. How was UFC Vegas 107 for you? I know you had even like less action than me.
Yeah, it turned out that all my action wound up being on the Todorovic fight. And it was, it was because I had bets on the Gustafsson fight as well, which got canceled. So ass shaving of the week comes through, Brady, in spectacular fashion. Gustafsson to shave the ass of Trevin Giles. It was such a thorough and complete ass shaving that Giles just gave up the day before the fight and just fell down in a heap into his own tears, realizing that he had 0% chance to win that fight. So cash Gustafsson by KO, which I didn't receive the money in my account for some reason yet, but I'm hoping that comes through soon. Cash Gustafsson money line. Haven't received that money in my account yet, Brady, but yet. So it looks on the surface, Brady, like I lost all my bets, which is unfortunate, but had a 1 unit bet on the Dusko Todorovic money line, 50-50 fight, got the line at plus 200. So I think it was a good bet. But I think Zach won the fight. You know, I had Dusko winning round 1. I had Zach winning rounds 2 and 3. So, but it could have went either way. I feel like Dusko won 1, Reese won 3, and then however you scored round 2 is how you scored the fight. But lost 1 unit there, and I had a half unit on Dusko by KO. And you know, the thing that I didn't get right about that fight was Zach did a much better job of stuffing takedowns and getting back to his feet than I've seen him do in other fights. And I really thought that Dusko was going to be able to get the wrestling going, get takedowns. And he got a couple, but he didn't do a lot of damage on top. And I thought that was going to be a little bit easier for him to do that. And then as a result of that, the fight didn't quite play out the way I planned. But yeah, lost 1 unit on Dusko's money line, a half unit on his KO prop, and then I lost 1 unit on the probability parlay, which had about 0% chance of succeeding. It was the under 1.5 rounds in the Todorovic fight, parlayed with Billy Ray Goff inside the distance, Brady. So talk about an absolutely dog shit parlay there that had no chance of cashing. So those were the only 3 bets, though, other than the bets that I had on Gustafsson, which got canceled. So yeah, down 2.5 units. I'm really just proud of myself that I wish I had bet Jacoby's money line. I wish I had bet Gamrot's money line. But in the absence of doing those things, I stayed very light on a card that I really didn't have a good read on. And I wound up like 4 and 5 on my fight picks too. So it was the right week to exercise good bankroll management, to stay light. And even, you know, if Todorovic had gotten the nod there, it would have been a small winning night. But yeah, I'm kind of just pleased with the fact that I didn't get absolutely hammered on that card. And, you know, got to keep it in my bank that, you know, like those spots like Jacoby and Gamrot, Gamrot fights on thin margins, but this guy was being priced as a minus 420 favorite in his last 2 fights against better opponents than Ludovic Klein. So those that jumped on that Gamrot money line this week, they did a great job. You know, they got him at the cheapest price that you could have got him at since I think either the Fiziev fight or even the Sarukian fight. And he performed really well. Great performance by Ramiz Brahimaj. Great performance by Mateusz Gamrot. Great performance by Dustin Jacoby. First round knockout. He looked great. And then Alice Ardeline gets the job done. I probably should have been on her money line because Rayon Dos Santos being minus 250 against anybody with a pulse is an abomination, and I should have been on the other side of it.
Yep. Bankroll management's key. Bankroll management is absolutely key. And all right, so last night we have to go through the Stat Diggers parlay. It's on a skid, dude. I mean, we got to get it together.
Yeah.
So it was the overs that were hurting us the last couple weeks. The under hurt us last night. We had the under 1.5 in the Dusko Breeze fight. That goes over easily. And then it was parlayed with the Nascimento money line. So one leg short. And then the piping of the week. The piping of the week.
Yeah.
Billy Ray Goff to pipe Ramiz Brahimaj on site. Not good. Not good.
Yeah, man, that wasn't even close. But when he got back up, Ramiz had his back, and I was like, oh, this is nasty. Then Billy got back up. I was like, oh, okay, now if he could just separate, and then Ramiz got his neck at some point, and then it was just perfect. Like, you know, the way Ramiz finished that, it was so fast. It was so clean. You know, good on Ramiz. 2 great wins in a row for Ramiz. This guy was basically almost out of MMA 2 years ago, Brady, with that neck surgery that he had. All these doctors that he was going to were telling him that he needed surgery and that the surgery would ensure that he would never fight again. So he found other ways to heal the injury without surgery. And here he is on a 2-fight win streak now. And the guy's still pretty young. So, yeah, I mean, like I've been rough on Brahimaj in the past, but the guy's on a nice run. And that was a good win against Billy Goff.
That was a great win. Ramiz could be a lot better than a lot of people thought, including me. But it continues, Wheezy. The milking of the week gets it done once again. And I went through the results of the last several milkings. The milking of the week started in UFC 313 with Carlos Leal to milk Alex Morono. And since then, the milking has went 11-0. And last night, the Stat Diggers milking of the week was Jordan Levitt to penetrate the gaping hole of Kurt Hollabaw's ground game and milk him dry. And that's exactly what he did. He penetrated Kurt Hollabaw's hole in the first minute and milked him quickly. Probably the quickest milking we've had thus far.
Yeah, that was that was so brutal. I mean, like, wow, Jordan looked great. Could you believe he got the first takedown that he shot for? Usually Hollabaugh has got Jose Aldo level takedown defense, but Levitt was able to get him down, and once he did, man, like, nobody submits Kurt Hollabaugh. The guy's been submitted once in something like 31 professional fights, and man, Levitt locked that up beautifully. That was another great performance. You know, so as bad of a fight card as it was, Levitt showed out. You know, Jacoby showed out. Ramiz showed out, and Mateus showed out. So good for them, bringing some kind of excellence to a card that as a whole was just. Somebody made a comment on Twitter, Brady, where they were like, can you imagine if that was a live crowd? And then they came out, you know, 1 minute before the fight was about to start and be like, sorry, guys, apologize. But, you know, Macy Barber's bunions are acting up and she won't be fighting here. I mean, like, it would have been, especially after only 9 fights and some, you know, not so good ones in there. That was kind of rough.
Yep. So the only bright spot of last night was the milking.
We'll take it. We'll take a bright spot when we get it, my man.
Yeah. So let's bounce back this week, have some good bets, have a good piping, have a good milking, and cash the Stat Diggers parlay. And I closed the poll. We had 144 votes, and yeah, it was unanimous. 54% of those 114 or 144 votes voted for Macy Barber to get some help. So hopefully Macy Barber, she gets the help she needs. All right, Weezy, I say we get into it. And you want to start with the Salkilld Ashmouz fight?
No, it's not that one. We got to start with the Mark the Shark Choinski against Mark Mederos fight, because that's the only one I don't have stats for.
You want me to go on Tapology?
Yeah.
All right.
See how many pop-ups we get.
Yeah.
It's the second from the bottom.
Oh,
there we go.
Come on. Okay.
Yeah, so second from the bottom. From the bottom. There you go.
There it is. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to kick it off with the first fight on the card. It is Markel Mederos going against Mark the Shark Choinski. We got Mederos, who is 28 years old, 5'10" with a 69.5-inch reach. We have the Shark is 29 years old, 5'8", not sure on the reach there. And yeah, this is kind of annoying. Like, I hate when they randomly throw these fights together, but yeah, I think it's probably smart with all the pullouts recently. But yeah, Chomsky's taking this fight on short notice. Mederos was supposed to fight last week against Balaji Oki. He pulls out either Tuesday or Wednesday, and he all of a sudden is fighting Choinski here. And I don't understand that, because he's done this before, and you talked about it a little bit, Weez. He's done this before where he pulled out and then fought like the next week or two after. So I'm not sure what's going on with Mederos. I'm not sure why they're letting this happen. But he's obviously getting a much easier opponent in Choinski, who just has not fought anybody. Choinski does have a wrestling background. I believe he wrestled D3. Does seem to have some solid grappling if he's able to get on top. But this is going to be the toughest matchup of the Sharks' career by a country mile. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, it's really weird because Markel Mederos was scheduled to fight Nazim Sadikov in July of 2024. He pulled out of that fight. And then we don't see him for 9 months after that. So he's got some injury problems that he's dealing with. And then he's scheduled to fight Evan Elder on March 15th, right? Now, he pulls out of that fight on fight week. And Elder is left holding the bag. He gets no show check. He gets no money. He cuts weight most of the week. And then he doesn't get a fight. And then Mederos is like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm not hurt. I just didn't want to fight Evan Elder. How about you give me Austin Hubbard 14 days after I was scheduled to fight Evan Elder and told you I couldn't do it? So somehow this guy fucks over Evan Elder by pulling out of the fight on fight week. And then Elder doesn't get another fight for 5 weeks. And guess who gets scheduled to fight 3 weeks before Evan Elder gets to fight? Fucking Markel Mederos against Austin Hubbard. And he wins a split decision he probably shouldn't have won. I don't know if he won round 3 or not, but he definitely lost round 2. Round 1 was close. Round 3 was close. And this coward pulls out of the Elder fight and then gets to fight before Elder. And then how does he get rewarded? He gets rewarded with a split decision win. Did you see his UFC debut against Landon Quinones?
I did.
He fucking lost that fight. I had money on Quinones, and they gave it to Markel Mederos. Congratulations, son. You win a unanimous decision there. I thought he lost all 3 rounds. It was a close enough fight, though. It wasn't like it was some kind of crazy robbery or anything like that. It was just a close fight. Markel gets the nod. Markel pulls out of the Elder fight, gets the easier fight against Hubbard. It's a 50-50 fight. He gets the nod. So then we go back 1 week, Brady, scheduled to fight Bolaji, and on fucking Wednesday, Markel Mederos is no longer ready to fight Bolaji. Okay? Can't do it, guys. Saturday, I'm not ready. But if you give me some kid off the regional scene with 8 professional fights, I'll be willing to fight 7 days from now. Dude, how is he getting away with this? Is this guy like the illegitimate son of Barack Obama or something? Is this one of Dana White's love childs, like from 28 years ago?
Maybe.
How do you get to pull? Like I would think that if you were pulling out of fights on fight week, that would piss off the matchmakers, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't, And Oki was lucky. Oki at least got a fight, and he got to fight Aswell, and as a result, we got Michael Aswell in the UFC. I think that's a good thing. But I just wanted to make it clear what this guy Mederos is doing, and I don't know who's letting him do it. It's bizarre to me that they're letting him do this because he's pulling out of fights and then taking easier fights 7 or 14 days later after he's fucking over another fighter by refusing to fight them and not telling them until the middle of fight week. So Markel Mederos is going to be the better striker here, Brady. Choinski does have a wrestling base. He's a Rufus Sport guy. He's been fighting in Anthony Pettis's promotion there in the Midwest, and he is the 155-pound promotion champion there. He beat Ricky Simon's brother. He just recently got a first-round, I think, submission victory over a guy from Honduras in his last fight. It was John Ramirez, and it was a first-round rear naked choke. He choked him unconscious. The fight against John Simone, good decision win. He got a point take. Simone got a point taken in round 3, and I think Choinski might have edged out rounds 1 or 2, and he got a pretty clear round 3 there, 10-8. So. Decent fighter, man, but he doesn't have a very high level of competition. He had 1 fight in LFA. Looked like he had a couple fights like in Southeast Asia, actually, and then all the rest of the fights are in Anthony Pettis. So Choinski, more of a wrestler, grappler. Mederos is going to be the better striker, and Mederos has got good takedown defense, so I think he's probably able to keep this fight standing and win the minutes on the feet. I mean, probably going to be a Markel Mederos win here. But if Choinski can get takedowns and get some top time, I think he could potentially find a path to victory. And frankly, I hope he does, because I'm sick of this fucking dude already. I mean, how do you pull out of as many fights as this guy's pulled out of? He's gotten every close decision has went his way. He's getting to cherry pick his opponents and fuck over his original opponents. And now here he is 7 days after he wasn't fit to fight Bolaji. Now all of a sudden he's okay to fight Choinski.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. It's unheard of. Like it's really weird. Like it's really weird. that he's doing this. It makes no sense. Like, did he even give a reason as to why he couldn't fight Oki? Like, do we even know why he couldn't fight Oki last week?
No, you just see Mederos pulled out. That's all you see.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know, and I mean, like one time, Elder actually didn't even get the opponent then. You know, and I remember Elder was on Twitter when he saw that Mederos got booked 2 weeks later against Hubbard. He's like, what the fuck is this? I don't even have a fight.
Yep, it's terrible. But I mean, maybe it's a high fight IQ move. I mean, this guy was scheduled to fight Oki. Probably wouldn't have ended too well for him. And now he gets to fight a Mark the Shark. But yeah, Mederos is a big favorite. And by the way, everybody on this card is a big favorite. So this is actually like not that bad compared to the rest of the lines we'll talk about. Mederos opened up minus 200. He's currently minus 275. Mark the Shark opened up plus 170. He's currently plus 235. If this was a battle of who had the better nickname, I think Mark the Shark would probably be minus 1,000 here, if not greater.
Yeah, but we'll just have to see like how good Choinski looks on tape, because if he looks really good, Mederos probably pulls out of this fight on Thursday and then gets rescheduled in a couple of weeks to fight Rayon dos Santos.
Oh, or like a Malcolm Gordon. I would like that.
They'll bring a 125er and be like, hey, can you take a fight against Mederos at 155? We need to get this kid a win. We love his pull-out game.
Mark the Shark by Grapple Freak. And by the way, if you guys go and watch Mark the Shark's fights, I kid you not, in every single fight, I don't know if the announcers are doing it on purpose. They say stuff like, oh, the Sharks got him in deep water, or they say something that has to deal with like sharks in the ocean. It's actually quite in every single fight. So shout out to the announcers for that. Mark the Shark's got him in deep water right now. It's hilarious.
And he's got the shark tattoo too. He's got a huge ass shark tattoo, doesn't he?
Heck yeah! Shout out to Mark the Shark. I got to get a shark tattoo. Man, that sounds pretty. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, rooting for Mark the Shark, but we'll see. Mederos is a bum. He's getting piped on site. Also, Brady, I ran into Colton G the other day. He's still looking for you. Colton G is apparently still, him and his goons are still looking for me. Oh boy. Mederos makes them an offer they can't refuse. Could be.
I guess.
Could be. Is Elders even booked yet?
Dude, he had that fight against he did get a fight 5 weeks after he was supposed to fight Mederos. He got a win. I forgot who he beat though already.
I forget too.
Yeah.
It was a very forgettable fight. Wheezy with the 10-8 round. Mederos has to dig deep after that. I agree. Don't let anyone clip this and tag Mederos on X. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a fighter was mad at Wheezy on X. It'd be the second time. It'd be the second. Mederos would have piped Oki. I don't know about that. Would have been a competitive fight, I think.
It would have been a close fight. I thought they were well matched.
Yeah, I thought they were well matched too. Definitely a much easier matchup here for Mederos. Weezy coming for Mederos, and rightfully so. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh yeah, the total. The total is set at 2.5. The over 2.5 is minus 175. The under 2.5 is plus 136. Yeah, probably goes over. I don't have faith in Mederos finishing anybody at the UFC level. I mean, the guy just seems to have no power.
We'll find out. I mean, because Choinski's hittable on the feet. He's definitely hittable at distance striking range. It's just, is Markel going to really let his hands go? And if he does, can he stop the takedowns after he hits Choinski? Because Choinski's not going to just stand there on the feet and get his face boxed off. He's eventually going to be shooting takedowns and making Markel wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Brady should get a butt shark tat.
Yeah, why not, dude?
Come on, I'm not getting a butt shark tat. Are sharks better natural pipers or milkers?
Pipers, dude. I would say that they're gonna pipe you.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Who gives an F about anything besides their feet? You will not be fighting either one of these guys on the feet rankings. That's for sure. All right, let's move on to the next fight. Which are we going to do with the Salkilld
we could
fight?
do everything else we could do on the sheet now.
All right, bet. I don't see the.
Well, Williams Gustafsson. It's left. No. Hit that left arrow.
This?
No. You gotta. Yeah, there you go. AM for Williams Gustafsson.
Oh, you want to do Williams Gustafsson?
Yeah, I think. Well, is that the next fight or?
I thought it was Salkilld.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Then I think I've got that tab on. I think I've got Salkilld Ashmouz on here somewhere.
I don't see it.
Yeah. Go left.
Oh. Left again?
Yeah, left again.
Again?
There you go.
Okay. All right. We got it. All right. I'm not under the influence. Tonight.
Bullshit.
I'm not. We got Quinlan Salkilld going against Ashmouz. We got Salkilld, 25 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. Ashmouz, 30 years old, 5'9" with a 68-inch reach. Salkilld, 5 years younger. It's going to be Salkilld with a 3-inch height advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage. Salkilld is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against, it was Anshul Jubilee and won that fight by first-round knockout. Had a Contender Series win against Gage Young, and by decision there. As far as Ashmouz, he has 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Sam Patterson, won that fight by first-round knockout. Lost a decision to Chris Duncan, and then won a decision against Trevor Peake. So we talked about big favorites on this card. This is the first of the very big favorites. We have Quinlan Salkilld as a minus 500 favorite. And Ashmouz is plus 375. I'm kind of upset with Salkilld. I had him by sub in his last fight, and he proceeded to not do that. He knocked out Anshul Jubilee. But I think Salkilld is the real deal. He's big, long-rangey for the division, solid striking. Didn't know he had that much power, but he sparked Jubilee. But yeah, he primarily looks to get the fight down to the ground. I think he landed like 10 takedowns on his Contender Series fight. Very good grappler, very good cardio, very good pace, very good IQ. I think Salkild's, pretty much the real deal. The only thing I'll say is I don't think Ashmouz is like some bum. He's kind of getting priced as if he's some bum, and Salkild's going to kind of walk through him. I don't really see that happening. But at the end of the day, I think Salkild's going to win. But like a lot of the fights on this card, Weezy, I think Salkilld wins. But I think the price is just unplayable for me. So Salkilld probably gets it done, but minus 500, it just doesn't really entice me that much.
Yeah. This price is wild. You look at Salkild's numbers; they're incredible, but it's a very small 0.3 of a minute sample size. Brady, have you ever seen a fighter that averages 18.9 significant strikes landed per minute and absorbs 0? I mean, how are you going to beat that guy? He lands 19 significant strikes every minute, and you land 0. Good luck. Try getting a submission, because otherwise you're going to lose. But obviously, that was just from one fight. And like I said, I think it was 18 seconds of fight time. So, and Ashmouz's striking metrics look absolutely awful because he broke his arm in the first round of the Chris Duncan fight and just kind of got pieced up for 3 rounds there. So, yeah, I think this line's off. Ashmouz is a good fighter. He's a good wrestler. He's got a little bit of pop in his hands, and he moves pretty well. He seems to have some pretty good process to his game. He's at a really good camp. He's over at K Dojo Warrior Tribe on the East Coast. Those guys are solid. 2 guys from that camp on this card with Mirzakhanov and Ashmouz. So, yeah, I mean, like we still have a lot more to learn about Quinlan Salkilld. He beat Gage Young. He beat Anshul Jubilee. We just saw Dom Marfan, who he's beaten twice, I believe, get a win on the road to UFC. So obviously Salkild's a really good prospect, but yeah, coming all the way from Perth to fight in the US against a guy in Ashmouz who's already training over. Where is this card, by the way? Is this in New Jersey?
This card is in New Jersey.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, this is where Ashmouz trains, so he's going to be like the hometown fighter here. And, Salkild's coming a long way for this fight. So, yeah, I think that this is dog or pass at the current line because I think Ashmouz is a pretty good fighter. He's just been a little bit inactive. Only like 3 fights in the last 3 years. He's had some injuries that he's had to deal with. Hasn't been as active as I'd like to see him. And he had to pull out of a fight against he was a big underdog. I forget who he was supposed to fight a few months ago, but as a result of having to pull out of that fight, we haven't seen Yanal in about 9 months now, while Quillen's making a turnaround here in just over 3. So Quillen, the much younger guy by 5 years, he's going to be 3 inches taller. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage. And I think he's going to win the minutes on the feet. And I think he's probably the more aggressive grappler, the guy more likely to win minutes. But, Yanal is a very good wrestler in his own right. And he's got really good top control when he does get on top of his opponents. So I could see him having some success here if it turns out that Salkild's wrestling isn't all it's cracked up to be. So we're going to have to see how this one plays out. But, yeah, I'm not laying minus 500 on Quillen?
Minus 500.
Woo! No thanks, man. I think the value's on Ashmouz, and I don't think he should be this big of an underdog to somebody this inexperienced.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think Salkilld wins, but -5. Is he going to look minus 500? I just really struggle to see that happening. So it's going to be a pass for me. The over-under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 -170. The under 2.5 is +140. I think it probably goes to decision. Ashmouz is very tough. I'm not really sure about the grappling of Ashmouz, though. What do you think?
I mean, it looked good against Trevor Peek, so I mean, it's hard to know, how it's going to look against somebody like Quillen, who's obviously going to be at least 1 or 2 notches up the ladder from what Trevor Peek can offer on the mat. So, yeah, this is one that I think that this Salkilld is a really good prospect. But, I mean, minus 500 in your second UFC fight coming off a win over Anshul Jubli is just not enough for me to get excited about laying minus 500 on this dude.
I saw Trevor Peek training jiu-jitsu at the Waffle House the other night. I was out at the Waffle House 1 o'clock in the morning, saw Trevor Peek with one of the cooks doing some jiu-jitsu.
Who won? Because those cooks are
cooks are good. Well, let's just say he cooked them.
Okay, good. I'm glad because I know Trevor's getting ready for his next fight. I'm looking forward to it, so it's good to know that he's training. And sometimes, Brady, it's those unorthodox training methods. Like it'll be a good coach who will be like, hey, come over tonight. We're going to hang out. They get you a little bit drunk. They take you to the Waffle House. They sneak off to the bathroom, tell the cook that dude's talking shit about you. And then they just kind of sit back and see how their student handles that irregular situation, having to fend off a couple of angry Waffle House cooks and perhaps a pissed off waitress. And I'm glad to hear that Trevor was able to handle it well.
Yep, for sure. The Waffle House, it's dangerous, man. You don't want to go there late at night. If you go there, you might have like a bulletproof vest. You want to be armed. I mean, the Waffle House is one of the most dangerous places you can go to.
Don't start popping off to people you don't know in a Waffle House in an area you're not from. They might find you in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, it's honestly terrifying, but decent food.
I'll take it too, dude. At 3 o'clock in the morning, shit house drunk, man.
Yeah.
Give me Waffle House, man. I'll go there. I'll chomp on some hash browns and some eggs and stuff. Give me some flapjacks. I'm ready.
Damn right. Minus 500. What could go wrong? Yeah, we're gonna say that a lot tonight. We have to bet a 60-year-old Azamat Mirzakhanov at minus 600. This dude's 60 years old. This dude's gonna walk to the cage with a cane. I mean, this guy's minus 600 for Mirzakhanov. I don't know what's going on this week, but poor Jubli. He could have gone on to be a future champ of India.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised.
Matrix Fight Night champion.
Yes. Well, this dude keeps calling you George Michael. Who's George Michael?
You don't know who George Michael is? Dude, he was huge when I was a kid. So George Michael was from England. He was in a band called Wham. Then he went solo. He had a bunch of hits over decades, Brady. He died recently. He was famous for getting caught doing some shady things a little bit, definitely a little bit of a lusty lad, George Michael, looking for fast love out there. But I think that if you were to watch the video for Fast Love by George Michael, I think what they're saying is that my current mustache kind of soul patch situation might be mimicking George Michael from the Fast Love video. And the Fast Love track, great dance track from the early 2000s, if I remember correctly. Might have been late 90s. But yeah, George Michael, bit of a legend, rest in peace. And he was Greek like me, Brady.
Wow. I pulled up some of his songs and I do recognize them. So
yeah, there you go.
Shout to George Michael.
Yes, sir.
Jewish Better, the Red Fox. Yeah, have you seen that? The Jewish Better looks just like Ashmouz. It's
They
actually
have a very similar look. And when he was
there he is.
rocking that big beard, man, yeah.
They look
yeah,
like
dude.
twins. It's actually crazy. It's underrated. I agree, and I think he's getting underrated in this spot. Like Quinlan minus 500. Was Quinlan even minus? Well, he probably was minus 500 against Jubilee, right?
Where I've got it on my spreadsheet in terms of his last where he was in his last fight. Let me get it for you here real quick.
He's a pretty big favorite.
Scroll to the right. Against Anshul Jubilee, he was a minus 400 favorite. So
what?
we're actually paying more against a better fighter this time around. But to be fair, he was minus 400 and looked minus 2,000. Jubilee. So people are like, yeah, he's covering minus 400. We'll put him at minus 500 this time.
Yeah, he absolutely covered that price tag. Let's see. Salkilld is a real deal. He just beat the Indian version of John Jones. A lot of Jubilee fans in here. Salkilld via mustache, right? He does have one hell of a mustache.
He does, man. He does.
Loser shaves their mustache and their ass. Wow, we're closing in 100 likes already. That's crazy.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
For a while, we weren't really getting to 100 until like later in the show, so that's awesome. We're only about an hour in. Brady looks a little Amish, but not in a disrespectful way. Appreciate it. Careless Whisper.
Yes, that's another one of his songs. Yeah,
That's
a ballad. That's a ballad, and it was definitely more of like the mainstream, type of thing. Probably not something that you'd be digging on, There are some tracks though that you would probably think were all right. Maybe not. I don't know if George Michael beat.
No.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
That's
listen.
all right.
I wouldn't listen to that. But I do recognize the songs from like movies and stuff. How young am I? I'm 26. 26 years old. Is everything all right over there? Everything okay?
So, I did hear some background noise there. And
yeah. Is Colton G? Colton G, if you're in the house, let your presence be known. Oh my God.
Oh God. Wait, this is a Spivac fight week, so you never know, man.
I wish I had like moderators in real life to protect me from Colton G. They can protect me in the chat, but they can't protect me from Colton G and his goons in real life, man. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm 20. I don't know why people think I'm like in my 30s. Although I did get called Unk for the first time in my life this week. Somebody called me Unk.
In the chat or by somebody in real life?
Somebody on online. They called me Unk.
No kidding.
Yeah, I guess that's what people call like older people. So I got called Unk for the first time.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, well, you're getting older every day, dude.
Yeah. People upset. I haven't listened to the Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're young, dude. And I mean, like, obviously George Michael is probably not the kind of music that you would be like looking for anyway. So obviously, it's not something that somebody from his generation is going to know automatically. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm a big sax guy. I'm a big sex guy. I'm absolutely a big sex guy, but a big sax with women, by the way, with women. Had to clarify that. And Brady likes Donnie Wahlberg. I don't mind Donnie Wahlberg. I think Donnie Wahlberg is a great actor, as is his brother Mark.
Yeah, but Donnie Wahlberg was in New Kids on the Block, which is maybe one of the biggest candy ass boy bands of all time. So that was what Donnie Wahlberg was before he was an actor, and then Marky Mark was the little brother, and he came out as Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch doing Good Vibrations. So like. Yeah, so like, it was Marky Mark, but I don't think Marky Mark would have ever raised to the levels that he did if it weren't for the behind the scenes contributions, Brady, of the Funky Bunch, who don't get as much credit as they probably should. But yeah.
Hey, you learn something new every day.
That's right, my friend.
The boats and hoes, hell yeah. We got D, what is up? What is up?
What's up, D?
All right. I say we keep moving on. Shall we talk about the Gustafsson Chaos Williams
Yes.
fight? Let's do it,
Do it.
man.
That's a
Because
good
this
one.
fight's gonna be fun. Like in terms of like entertainment, this is probably one of the most entertaining fights on the entire card, and we'll talk about why. But we got Chaos Williams, who was 31 years old, 6 foot with a 77-inch reach. And we got Gustafsson, 34 years old, 6'1", with a 73-inch reach. Williams 3 years younger. Gustafsson with a 1-inch height advantage. And Williams with a 4-inch reach advantage. Chaos Williams, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Miguel Baeza. Decision loss to Randy Brown. Decision win against Rolando Bedoya. Knockout win against Carlston Harris. And then a submission loss to Gabriel Bonfim. As far as Gustafsson, he has 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He was going to make his debut, or he did. He knocked out Giles, right, on the scale?
Yeah, it's a win. I'm chalking it up as a win. I don't know why the books haven't paid me out yet, though.
Yeah, I went pretty big on the Gustafsson knockout prop last week. I hope they pay me out quickly.
Yeah, just we gotta write a strongly worded letter or something like that. But that's a knockout, dude. It's a knockout.
Yeah, I mean, our prediction was correct. We were both predicting a Gustafsson knockout. Didn't happen how we expected it, but it still happened. But yeah, this fight's gonna be fun. I know you did too. I really liked Gustafsson against Trevin Giles, just based off the fact that Giles was taking the fight on short notice. Giles is very, very fragile. I thought Gustafsson was going to knock him out. I was the only thing I was worried about was I don't think Gustafsson's like the most talented fighter, but what he is he's a fighter. This guy's a complete madman. He's a wild dude. He actually posted on Instagram his game plan, and I thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. He says on Instagram, this is him saying this, game plan equals full retard. And I read that, and I laughed my ass off because I was watching tape on this guy, and the first thing I said to myself was, this guy's going full retard in there. I mean, that's what he's doing. That's his fighting style. No technique, just coming forward, tries to push you against the cage, and tries to just wear on you, elbow you, knee you, and quite frankly, kill you. He's trying to kill his opponents in there. But yeah, that's pretty much all he's good at is pushing guys against the clinch. Hasn't really fought the best competition in the world. At distance, at range, it's very bad. He's very hittable. He's very slow. Chaos Williams, I think, is like the better fighter by a mile, and it's really not even close. So that's kind of why it's frustrating. I loved Gustafsson against Trevin Giles. I thought he was going to finish him. But now we have Chaos Williams as a pretty decent-sized favorite at minus 225 and Gustafsson at plus 190. I think that makes sense. I think Williams should be a moderate favorite, but this guy Gustafsson, I like him. I don't think he's the best fighter, but I like him. I like his style, and he's a guy that will fight for your money. What I don't mind here is maybe like a violence bet. I was loving the violence in the Officer Giles fight. I kind of want to see where they put the total out for this one. They haven't yet. I know both guys are very durable, but I just think this is going to be, no pun intended, just chaos. I think this is going to be a very chaotic fight here. It should be fun, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, this fight can go a million different ways, I think. What are your thoughts on this one, Weezy?
I think why this is going to be probably one of the best fights of the night is because both of these guys have ridiculous power. Chaos Williams, 8-0 to the KO. Andreas Gustafsson, 8-0 to the KO. But they're both really durable, Brady. And neither one of these guys really offensively wrestles all that much. I mean, Gustafsson's going to clinch up with you, but he's really probably not going to be taking you down and top controlling you, So I think that these guys are going to be on the feet, beating the piss out of each other, but they're both so durable that it's hard to see either one of them getting knocked out. So I think it's just going to be a bloody war. One stat that I think is really important here is because we know when we watch the film on Gustafsson that if you're not good in the clinch, you're going to have a really hard time fighting Andreas Gustafsson because he's extremely strong. He can hold you there, and he's very violent with his strikes there. Over a fairly large sample size of UFC fights, 9 UFC fights, 83 and a half minutes of cage time, Chaos Williams is getting outstruck 43 to 25 in significant clinch strikes. So when he winds up there, he's kind of getting outworked. And that is an area where he's going to wind up a lot in this fight. Chaos has got serious power. But the funny thing is about Gustafsson is the harder you hit this guy, the more pissed off he gets. Like when in that Tony Lampinen fight, which if you have not seen that fight, you have to watch that fight. It's an absolute classic. There's a point in that fight where Lampinen lands this flush elbow right in the middle of Gustafsson's face. And Gustafsson sees red and just goes absolute full retard and starts beating the piss out of Lampinen. And the announcers are actually laughing, going, Lampinen made him mad. Lampinen made him mad, and like he did. He hit him clean and he just pissed off Gustafsson. And it was probably the dumbest thing that he did all fight was landing that one clean elbow, because it really put Gustafsson into an even further gear, into an even higher gear, and he just started putting out more output. So these guys are going to absolutely kill each other, and I can't wait to see it. Who is Chaos Williams? Chaos Williams was supposed to fight
Medic? Uris Medic.
So it's a slightly different stylistic matchup because, Medic is a real smooth distance striker who you're going to need to kind of find your way in against. Nobody ever needs to find their way in against Gustafsson. He's just he'll put himself there, So I think that, this goes from being a chess match at distance striking range to just an absolute car crash of a fight. So I don't think the change of opponent is great for Chaos here. But then again, Gustafsson now, he just cut weight 2 days ago. He's going to have to cut weight again on Saturday. That's not a good thing because he's already looking to make his UFC debut here. There are going to be potential nerves. Instead of it happening at the Apex like it was supposed to yesterday, now it's happening in front of a live crowd in Newark, New Jersey. So I think that there's some reasons why, why Chaos should absolutely be the favorite here. He's 3 years younger than Andreas. He's a lot more experienced overall. He's got 9 more fights at the UFC level. He's got a really big strength of schedule advantage here, Brady. He keeps fights standing. He's only been controlled for 4% of his UFC cage time, and he's got a serious amount of power on the feet. 5 knockdowns, 0 knockdowns absorbed. So Chaos Williams is an extremely tough opponent. He should be the favorite here. But Gustafsson might bring a style where he can keep this really close because we've seen Chaos be in really close fights against Randy Brown, against Rolando Bedoya. He's had some fights where, you're not really sure who won the fight at the end of it. And Bedoya's a very durable guy, as is Gustafsson. So I think that it's kind of tricky to lay juice here on Chaos. And what I think could actually be kind of a contrarian play that might hit because both of these guys are durable is betting an over here, Brady.
Yeah, it'd be very contrarian. They actually opened up a total, and to my surprise, they put it at 1.5.
Okay, because I didn't see the total because they opened it late. Where do they have it?
1.5 over -150 for the over, and then the under is +117.
117. So 3 of 9 Chaos Williams fights have finished under 1.5 rounds, so 33%. And 6 of 9 have went over. Obviously, Chaos has never been finished as a professional. He's never been knocked out. I think he might have gotten submitted once, really early in his career or something. But
no, it was last. I think it was his last fight, wasn't it?
Oh, Gabriel Bonfim got him last time. That's right. That dude subs everybody though. He's got 100% finish rate. He's never been knocked out, so he's an extremely durable guy. You don't have to worry about Gustafsson's submission game matching. He's not that kind of a fighter. So yeah, Brady, this fight is going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. I will not be betting an over in this one, but at the same time, I'm not betting it like an under 1.5 because both guys are durable. Gustafsson gets slept in round 1. I do think there's a really good chance he does get slept. I mean, if this fight's at distance for any point in time, like he's begging to be hits, and getting hit by Chaos is probably not the best recipe for success. Chaos will pipe him at some point. Chaos via BBP, big bold piping. Oh my gosh! Hashtag BBP. We got Dr. Pena.
Yes.
Dr. Pena in the building. He's a penis trauma surgeon. He said the main problem with weight cutting is your penis can become dehydrated and fall off. Okay.
Like a stale Cheeto. Yeah, well, it's good to know that we got some medical professionals here in the in the chat, and I mean that's the hard work right there, saving grown men's penises. You know, good, shout out and big up Dr. Pena.
Yep, shout out to Dr. Pena. Piping of the week for Chaos. ESPN. Yeah, so it was supposed to be Williams versus Medic, which would have been another really good fight, but this is just as good, if not even better.
Yeah, if there's a less reliable source than ESPN, please let me know what it is.
We got future champ.
I think ESPN still has George St. Pierre as the welterweight champion. So
God, we got future champ Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, potential ass shaving here.
Hell yeah.
2 weight cuts in 2 weeks with a ton of damage pile up versus a heavy ass hitter.
Yep.
Ends KO is free. I doubt it's going to be playable is the only problem there. What?
We're going to look it up after the show. We promise we'll look it up.
I'm not looking up that. Did you hear that? Andreas, he's coming off of a back injury or something.
Neck injury. Yes, sir.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he's ready to go, dude. He rubbed some dirt on it. He's a Viking. I'm sure he always fights hurt.
Brady, can you bring this up? Wheezy is a fountain of knowledge. Lazy Bet, and I want to know how many New Kids on the Block and Jackal songs he can name us.
So I know the New Kids on the Block biggest hit was called The Right Stuff. I don't know any other songs by them. And there was a band, Brady, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they were terrible. They were called Jackal. And on their debut album, they had a song called The Lumberjack. Okay? And the highlight of the song, The Lumberjack, was the singer of Jackal doing a chainsaw solo. So he had a chainsaw, and he was revving the chainsaw in a certain rhythm where it was going, voo, 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 voo. Yeah, does a chainsaw. So there you go. That's the chainsaw solo from Jackal. And my friend Mike used to tell a joke to us friends of his that he said that when he got married, he wanted to do the chainsaw solo from Jackal's The Lumberjack at his own wedding. And when he did finally get married, I tried to hold him to that. And he said, no, she's going to definitely divorce me on my wedding day if I do that. So I can't do it. I wish he would have. It would have been classic. But I gave the best man speech at that wedding. And it was a bit of a banger, if I do say so myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it. Chaos Uppercut ends him. Gentlemen, appreciate your dick gratitude. Heck yeah. I'm a serious effing cock doctor. Hell yeah, Dr. Pena. He is. He's legit, guys. If you guys have any penis trauma, hit up Dr. Pena.
Oh yeah.
And somebody mentioned, what is this XP on YouTube?
It's something that like is ranking the people who comment, and you get a number 1, a number 2, or a number 3, and I think it ranks based on how many comments you make and stuff like that. People have been talking about it on mine lately. I don't know exactly what it is though.
You'll never guess who's in first place right now.
Is it Dixon Cider?
Yeah, it's Dixon Cider.
How about that?
We got WMMA in second place. We got the Milkman in third. Elijah won in fourth. Marcel in fifth. I don't see Dr. Pena up here, though.
Yeah, he'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I don't see Dr. Pena even in the top 25.
Yeah, he'll get there, man.
Oh, they have him slotted in at number 43 right now.
Okay. Hey, man, he's on the board.
There you go. So shout out to Dixon. Shout out to Dixon. All right, let's keep moving on. We're going to talk about the Jekka Seregi versus Jusong Yu fight. We got Seregi, 30 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Yu is 31 years old, 5'9". We got Yu 1 year older, 1-inch height advantage. Jekka, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, made his debut against Anshul Jubilee, lost that fight by second round TKO, knocked out Lucas Alexander in the first round, and they got submitted by Weston Wilson in the first round. As far as Yu, he is making his debut here, and another big favorite. So I taped this fight And I'm like, oh, dude, I like you a lot in this matchup. I think Yu's going to go out here. I think he could, knock out Jekka. I think he can take him down, wear on him. I think he can sub him. Jekka's been finished, four times in his career. His cardio's not great. His ground game's the worst you've ever seen. I like you quite a bit in this matchup. And then he's minus 510. Like, come on. I mean, give me a break. Just give me a break. And I thought, okay, I'll play the under. Maybe they'll put the over under at 2.5 rounds. No, they didn't. It's set at 1.5, and the under 1.5 is only plus 130 for a guy in you who only has like three finishes in his career. I thought I might be sneaky and get a nice price on Violence. So they're all over it. They did their research. You is probably going to finish Jekka, but not a ton of value to be had. I think you wins, but minus 510 on a guy making his debut, a lot could absolutely go wrong. But yeah, he looks like the real deal to me. But this is going to be an interesting test against Jekka, who is dangerous in the first round. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, this you kid looks all right, man. I saw him fight that Succo guy on in Brave CF, and he looks like the striking is the real deal. He's got a great frame for the division. He's got a lot of good weapons, uppercuts, kicks from both sides, good straight punches. And he's got a rear naked choke win. He's got 3 knockouts, but he's got 4 decisions. And while sometimes you would prefer to see guys finishing on the regional scene, it's also nice to know that if they don't get a finish, that they can still win minutes and bank rounds and win decisions. And all of his decision wins are unanimous. But the level of competition, he's fighting on the Asian regional scene, fighting, some veteran guys like Shimizu, who's got 71 fights going into that fight.
Dang.
35, 25, and 11. Shunichi Shimizu. Like, you'll see anybody that ever fought in Europe and got in the UFC has fought this guy at some point, But yeah, the level of competition isn't great. He's had 2 fights in the Korean Zombies promotion. He beat Exon, who's 18-7. He beat Kawana, who's 10-4. So yeah, it's hard to know exactly where this guy's going to fit into the UFC, but he looks the part, Brady, right? I mean, when you see him facing this Asian regional scene competition, he looks like a really crisp and technical kickboxer. Sergey, being technical doesn't necessarily help against somebody who's just going to go out there and swing dicks, and that's what Sergey does. And if this guy hits you, man, you're probably going to sleep. He hits very hard and he's very aggressive. The one thing I haven't seen, because I only got to see one of his fights so far, is he going to wrestle a lot? Now, I saw him against that Succo wrestle a little bit, get a couple of takedowns, but there wasn't great top control or like really suffocating jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I think this guy should look pretty good in this spot. But Jekka's a dangerous guy. And if you lay that kind of juice against somebody like Jekka, he could sleep you with one punch. So maybe like Jekka Sergey inside the distance, 10th of a unit at like plus 1,000, it might hit, I mean, the guy's got a lot of power, but I think, you just kind of need to maybe sit back and watch this one, Brady, because you don't want to lay minus 500 on a debutante, right? Especially against somebody like Sergey who can hit really hard. So it's going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, I mean it's a wide line. I think it's probably warranted, to be honest. Like, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, like, what are you gonna do with minus 500?
Not much.
We can parlay it with Quinlan. Salkilld.
What are we getting there? 500 or 500? Let's see here.
Minus 225, maybe.
Woo!
If we're lucky.
Minus 500 there. We could throw Mirzakhanov in at minus 600 and we get minus 250.
Really?
Yeah, minus 250. So, like, I think if we were to just do the 2 500s here, where's O? Where the hell is O? U, I mean, U.
Yeah, U.
So 500 and 510 gives you a minus 230. 2.3 units to win one.
Okay. Can we add did we add 7-year-old Mirzakhanov?
No, yeah, we could throw him in there now, and that'll get us down to at minus 148. At that price, you can't afford not to do it.
Can we throw Kayla Harrison in there?
Kayla Harrison at minus where 600?
Yeah.
Oh, we're almost even. Almost even, Bray. We're so close. Minus 105.
Can we
Maybe
throw
if somebody
Joshua
bets
Van?
Mederos,
Joshua Van.
we'll throw Van in there. Our 5-leg parlay. What could go wrong at plus 131?
Okay. All right.
That's your Stat Diggers parlay, ladies and gentlemen. Don't add us if it loses.
The thing is, it probably hits. Probably hits. Jekka is a bum. Whenever I'm not in the chats because I'm actually at work working. That's a good excuse. Who the F are these dudes? You know Jackie's the guy that got subbed by Weston Wilson.
Yep. And he also knocked out Lucas Alexander in a vicious fashion.
Yeah, he did. Jekka is going to hit the Deca. Jekka does wear a cool hat. Cool hats
does
have a very good win rate. That's exactly right. I haven't seen. Oh, is that Kennedy and Zachuku senior? Oh my God!
There's a missing sign above his picture.
Haven't seen my dear son in many months. Last we knew, he was mumbling something about becoming a heavyweight. This would have been good. Like a week, we found him, dude. He's not missing anymore. He has a fight booked. He's well. He's well.
Brady, have you ever wondered if Kennedy and Zachuku has had people come up to him and be like, "Where have you been, dude?" Like, I wonder if he knows who we are because people have been checking on him.
I hope so.
They were praying for you. I just wanted to know if you were okay.
He's probably watching right. I heard he's a big fan of the show.
I hope he is, man. I hope he is.
I sure hope so. Where is the? They found him. He's fighting Walter Walker. Walker. Oh, Aussie comment. There we go. Dr. Peener, check up again. Dr. Peener, don't do that, dude. Don't check on Kennedy. Come on.
Oh my God.
All right, let's just move on to the next fight. Oh boy. We got our guy, Sergey Spivac, going against Waldo Cortez-Acosta. We got Spivac, 30 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Waldo Cortez-Acosta, 33 years old, 6'4" with a 78-inch reach. Spivac, 3 years younger. Waldo with a 1-inch height advantage, same reach there. Spivac is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Augusto Sakai. Submission win against Derek Lewis. Knockout loss to Cyril Gahn. Submission win against Martin Tybura. And then a knockout loss to Jailton Almeida. As far as Waldo Cortez-Acosta, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Decision loss to Marcos Rogério de Lima. Knockout win against Lucas Bresky. Decision win against Andre Arlovsky. Decision win against Rebelis de Spain. And then a knockout win against Ryan Spann. So I know we're in New Jersey, right? So the commission's a little bit different than like a Vegas. So in New Jersey, I'm not sure if you know this, but are you allowed to bring in like a garlic necklace or maybe a crucifix into the cage in New Jersey?
No, even Bryce Mitchell had to sneak that Bible into the cage when he brought it in. So they're certainly not going to let you bring in a crucifix. And I mean, obviously you can't do that because it would be a weapon against somebody like Spivac. And this is supposed to be hand-to-hand combat. So you can't bring garlic in there. You can't rip off a chair leg and then try to stab them with it. I mean, these are going to be illegal tactics. So, and I mean, let me tell you something, Brady. I mean, we hear the phrase protect your neck a lot. Well, it takes on a whole new meaning in this fight when you're fighting a 1,000-year-old vampire from the mountains of Transylvania named Sergey Spivac here. This guy takes you down. It's going to be a blood draw, and you're going to be out for the count. So Waldo Cortez-Acosta is going to need to keep this fight standing.
Yeah, so that's something that Spivac has going against, unless he Waldo sneaks in some holy water or something. But as long as they inspect him correctly, and should be good. And then as long as Spivac does not fight during the day, which I think they're far enough up the card that they could be fine. It's gonna be close. I'm thinking this card might kick off at 6 Eastern. By the time this fight's on, it might be 8. I don't know. It still might be daytime, dude.
Dude, like you're gonna see Sergey Spivac getting off the bus, and he's gonna have like a trench coat, sunglasses, and he's gonna be walking with an umbrella, so the sun doesn't land on him. But yeah, I think he's gonna be ready to go, man.
Okay, all right. This fight is so it's actually interesting. So there are a bunch of Y lines. This is the closest line fight on the entire card. It's about a pick. It looks like it's kind of approaching it. Spivac's minus 120, Waldo's plus 100. And for me, I think a pick'em's correct because Sergey Spivac is a guy that I just don't trust at all. I just don't trust him because sometimes Sergey Spivac shows up and he looks incredible. Like he looks like a contender. People are like, wow, this guy's really good. This guy's really good. He's able to get these guys down to the ground and pound, the ability to control his opponent, good submission game. He looks really good tonight. And then there's some fights where it's like, what the fuck, Sergey Spivac? What the fuck? Like, what was that Cyril Gahn perform? I know it's Cyril Gahn's decent, but it's like, didn't even try to take him down. Looked like a deer in headlights against Cyril Gahn. I know it was short notice, but looked like a deer in headlights against Tom Aspinall. I think Spivac's one of these guys that just a very good hammer, very bad nail, a guy that needs to be in the driver's seat. When he's in the driver's seat, he looks like a very good fighter. But if he's not in the driver's seat, he looks like a complete bum out there. So he's very hit or miss. I'm not sure which Sergey Spivac will show up, the Spivac that looks like an absolute beast or a Spivac that looks like he just woke up from a 1,000-year nap and just looks completely out of it. So I don't really want to bet on this fight. You can make arguments for both guys, solid arguments, like Waldo Cortez-Acosta. We saw him get taken down multiple times by Thomas Peterson. We saw him get taken down multiple times by Marcos Rogerio de Lima. We saw him even get taken down by Chase Sherman. He gives up his back every time he gets taken down. So there will be a path for Spivac, but if Waldo can keep this standing, he's obviously going to have a pretty big striking advantage here. So I kind of think the winner of this fight is going to look like a big favorite. If Spivac's able to get his ground game going, maybe take the back of Waldo at some point, maybe find the finish. And if Waldo's able to keep this standing, probably has a field day on Spivac here. So it's kind of a tricky fight to call, a fight that I probably won't be betting on from like a money line standpoint.
Yeah, it's striker versus grappler. It's very simple. If Sergey Spivac doesn't get takedowns, he's just not a good enough boxer to deal on the feet with somebody like Waldo, who's got really good cardio, fantastic output for the division, and he's a great boxer, and he's extremely durable. You remember, like Chase Sherman kicked him in the calf about 120 times, and he never even started a limp. Like, I don't know how he wound up, because he gets kicked so many times in the calf, and it just never looks like it bothers him. And I've always said that, like, calf kicks don't count. Judges just don't score them unless you start limping, unless you start showing that it's actually hurting you, because head strikes are really what's getting counted by the judges. They're all boxing judges. So, and Cortez is a guy who, while he's only seen 2 takedown attempts against per 15 minutes, he's only spending 8% of his UFC octagon time being controlled by his opponents. It's hard to get takedowns in the heavyweight division. And, but if Spivac gets them, man, he's very difficult to deal with. And his boxing's okay. It's okay. It's definitely below average for the division, but it's not like Cortez is like a one-punch knockout guy in this division. So I think Spivac can kind of keep it close on the feet. And then if he's able to do that, and he sets up his takedown attempts well, he's going to have a chance to win this fight. But the one thing I'm just not seeing from Sergey, which bothers me, which probably is going to have me backing Waldo in this fight, is that the traditional freestyle wrestling entries just don't seem to be there for him. He's not really a single leg, blast double guy, high crotch. He's using judo to get his takedowns, which means now he needs to get into the clinch first. And then once you clinch up with a heavyweight, it's kind of hard to keep them there. It's kind of hard to move them because you need to start getting them to move in order to get your judo throws and trips and sweeps and reaps going. So I think Cortez probably keeps this standing for the majority of it. And he's a durable enough guy with enough heart where I think if Sergey does take him down, he probably will be able to work back up to his feet. So I'm leaning to the Waldo Cortez-Acosta side here, But, obviously Sergey Spivac, if this dude starts getting takedowns against you and works to dominant positions, he can absolutely finish fights.
Yeah, I'm leaning Spivac, but I can't trust him. Never again. Never, not since that Gone fight.
Dude, and it was so painful, Brady, because he had just come off of a fixed fight against John Jones, where he got choked out in like 45 seconds. And coming off of that fight, he gets a grappler in Spivac. And I remember I had 2 units on Spivac at place like 160. There was not 1 second of that fight that Sergey Spivac won. It was one of the worst bets I ever made.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm sick of losing money on Spivac. With that said, though, I did cash the Gilton KO prop in the last fight. Shout out to Jason Herzog.
Yeah, man, I did too, dude. That was awesome.
Yes, shout out to her. That's what caused me to actually get the Herzog shirt. Was that a Gilton fight? After that fight, I got the Herzog shirt. So shout out to that.
Yeah, I cashed the take this job and shove it parlay. The third leg was that one was the KO for Gilton. So that one when that one happened, I was going nuts.
Shout out to Herzog, man. Spivac opened up -150, currently -120. Waldo opened up +130, currently +100. The over under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 +100. The under 2.5 -130. I do expect money to probably come in on the over, and I think the money line might come in a little. I don't know. I think this fight can go either way. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of strong opinions on either side, and rightfully so. You can make a very strong opinion for both sides here, but I'm leaning with the Vampire. Mirzakhanov and Spivac were training partners in 200 BC. They probably were, man.
Yeah, man.
Could see the TKO by Crucifix.
That could happen. Position. Yeah,
I know Spivac loves the Crucifix position. We got over 100 likes. Shout out to you guys. Over 100 likes, appreciate it. Sergey, the Daywalker. Return to the Dracula. I got Spivac milking Waldo for 2 rounds until the ref pulls him off. We all saw Nosferatu. Yeah, Nosferatu's dangerous, man. He's dangerous. Spivac verbal tap out under 1.5. Milked by the garlic necklace. Spivac pulling up in the... Yes. They're going to wheel him out. Yes.
With an umbrella over him.
Yes. Love it. Spivac looks like literal milk. Spivac tossed Lewis around like a sack of Moldolian cabbages. Spivac, he does look like somebody who'd be like the milkman, right? He does look like somebody that could potentially be a milkman in Moldova, right?
Oh my God, yeah, Moldova, dude. I would stop ordering milk if he was the one delivering it to me, man. I'll tell you that.
Oh, jeez. I was trying to see if there's a hype video for Spivac.
Yeah, I wonder.
Has
he been training back home in Moldova, or is he? Because I know he was training in the States for a while. I think maybe with Iwan.
He's training in Las Vegas.
He is in Las Vegas. Okay.
Yeah, he's in Las Vegas. Yeah. Waldo's schedule of opponents is suspect AF.
Big win over Ryan Spann.
Oh,
the best striker in the division in Robelas to Spain. Knocked out Bresky. I mean, Andrei Arlovsky's a legend. How do you...
Chase Sherman, that guy.
Maybe a little sketchy. Maybe a little bit, but he's it's the heavyweight division. You could poke anybody's schedule and be like, it's a little bit sketchy, because it's heavyweight.
Spivac should win a round 1 live bet hedge opportunity. It's everything in this fight. Oh, Brady, don't ignore the Spivac new dad aura.
He's been a new dad for a minute, though. He might have a second kid now, but I mean, like Sergey Spivac has had hundreds of kids over the centuries that he's been alive. I mean, he's got kids that have been dead for 700 years.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that changes much. Spivac is the prime suspect if a pet goes missing in your subdivision. Okay. There's not enough light in the castle. He has a long bloodline, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We're going from one old guy to another old guy. It's Azamat Murzakanov going against Brenton Hibero. We got Brenton Hibero, 28 years old, 6'3" with the 81-inch reach. And I think you made a mistake. You said Azamat's 36 here. I mean, times that by 2, right?
He's listed at 36. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I'm sick of these fighters lying. Like, it all started with Jairzinho Rosenstruck saying he's 6'3". It was weird. He came into the UFC. They listed him at 6'3", and each time he fought, they took an inch off. Like, he started 6'3". The next fight, he's 6'2". The next fight, he's 6'1". The dude's 5'9" at best. So Rosenstruck is a liar, and Murzakanov, this guy's clearly lying. This guy was 36 years old 36 years ago. I mean, it's ridiculous. But so Ribeiro is going to be the much younger guy by about 50 years. Ribeiro is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knocked out Bruno Lopez on the Contender Series as a massive dog. Lost by knockout to Zhang Mingyang in his debut. Lost to Magomed Gadjilasulov by decision. Beat Kyle Machado by decision, and then beat that bum Dihar Nurgojai by submission in his last fight out. As far as Murzakanov, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He had a first-round knockout win on the Contender Series. Knocked out Tafon and Chukwu in the 3rd round. Knocked out Devin Clark in the 3rd round. Won a decision against Dustin Jacoby. And then knocked out Alonzo Menefield in the 2nd round. So, yeah, I know I always crap on Murzakanov. He's very old, which he is. But I'm not betting against this guy for a very long time. He's so good. They call him the professional, and I think that fits him. Like, he's a very good striker, very technical striker with a lot of power, and he's a very good fighter. But he's minus 600 here, which makes him, I believe, tied with being the biggest favorite on the entire card. So another big favorite here with Murzakanov, which is interesting because Hibeiro's much younger. He's going to be towering over Murzakanov, and he's going to have a 10-inch reach advantage here against Murzakanov. But, yeah, I think Murzakanov's much, much better. I think Hibeiro's very hittable. I think he's very chinny. I think he's very fragile. I think he's a terrible nail. I think Murzakanov probably sparks Ribeiro, but minus 600. Again, what are you going to do? The over-under set at 1.5. This is the most juiced under on the slate. The under 1.5 is minus 155, which kind of sucks because Murzakanov has multiple knockout wins in the UFC that have come over 1.5 rounds. I think the only knockout win he had, did the Menefield fight go over or under?
The Menefield fight ended in round 2. It went over because it was 498 seconds. 450 is 1.5. So yes. It went 48 seconds over.
So that's annoying. Like, all 4 of his UFC fights literally went over. Why do I have to lay minus 155 for him to finish this bum Ribeiro? Why do I have to do that?
Because Ribeiro, in his 20 fights outside the UFC, 16 of them ended under 1.5 rounds, and 2 of his 4 UFC fights ended under 1.5 rounds. So they're saying it's a Ribeiro fight, and they're also probably saying it's a bit of a mismatch at minus 600. So they think maybe Azamat just gets him out of there early. And obviously Ribeiro, if he gets a finish, it's going to be in round 1.
Yeah, the KO procs me minus 160 if we're lucky.
Yeah, I know.
If we're, it's going to be minus 200 probably.
Yeah, and it's going to hit too.
Oh, well, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, it's a rough one because Murzakanov was supposed to fight someone else. I forget who it was. Let me take a real quick look here and see who it was. Murzakanov.
I think Johnny Walker.
So now you got another big, long striker here in Ribeiro that's stepping in. So it's a similar stylistic matchup, but we haven't seen Azamat in about 9 months. I think this is going to be a pretty clear Azamat Murzakanov spot. The guy's a phenomenal fighter. And yeah, I was always a big fan of the guy, Brady, but it was the Dustin Jacoby fight for me where I was like, fuck this. I am staying out of this dude's way. Yeah. I'm not betting against this guy anymore. Dude, he toyed with Dustin. He toyed with him. Dude, he was 5 inches shorter and like an 8-inch reach disadvantage. Everybody knows Dustin's the faster, cleaner striker. And Dustin said after the fight, he goes, I couldn't believe how fast that dude was. He went in there, a guy who's been in there against Pereira, a guy who's been in there against the best kickboxers in the world in Dustin Jacoby, because he fought in glory, and he's fought some really good kickboxers here in the UFC. And Mirzakhanov was probably the guy that gave him the most trouble out of all of them. And then we know that Mirzakhanov's got a ground game too. We just don't really see it because he's dominating on the feet. The guy's not taking any damage. 63.5% distance striking defense, 4-0 UFC knockdown ratio, 50% accuracy at range. He's low volume, but he's landing at 50%. And yeah, he can get takedowns occasionally, and if he does get on top of you, he's got a really good ground and pound, and he can win minutes on top. So yeah, I think it's gonna be Azamat winning this fight. And Ribero's, a very dangerous fighter, especially early. And you can never count somebody like that out, because let's face it, if we're going to talk about why you would bet Ribeiro here, he's 7.5 years younger. He's 5 inches taller. He has a 10-inch reach advantage, and the guy's got a ton of power and a ton of length on the feet. So yeah, man, I think that this is going to be a really fun fight. I think it's a good replacement, similar stylistic matchup for Johnny Walker as the original opponent for Mirzakhanov going to Ribeiro. But yeah, it's a tough road to hoe for Ribeiro coming off that win against Nurgajai, another win before that in Machado. But now he's getting a guy in Mirzakhanov who's undefeated as a professional. He's 4-0 in the UFC. And he's finished 3 of those 4 wins inside the distance and looked really good in them. So, yeah, big step up here for Ribeiro. I think Mirzakhanov is going to look really good. But, when the line is minus 600, it just – I'm not going to be looking to play props here either. So, probably going to be staying away from this one from a gambling perspective. But it's going to be an enjoyable fight from a fan perspective. I think the fans are going to enjoy watching this one. Don't know what happened to Brady, but it is vampire season. It is UFC 316. Sergey Spivac might be levitating outside of his house. He's got a wife and a kid, and sometimes those things get in the way too. So, but we can keep talking here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Wow, Colton G and his goons are piping him on site right now, says DFS by the numbers. I can't bring up comments because Brady's the host. The Ball Steve breakdown is early, says my guy Benino. And ring a ding ding, you guys. Our guy Forrest Daniels with a $2 donation saying Dumas store credit fund. Honey buns are expensive in the commissary. Hopefully he's out of prison though. Hopefully he's out of prison and he could get back to the philanthropy work that he's so known for. And we got Dixon. You were right about the photo, says Masters. We got who will be the parlay buster, says Sweet Pea Grable. And there could be a few because you got some debutantes like this Yu guy, Jusang Yu, minus 510. Quillen Salkilld, minus 500. It's only his second UFC fight, and Ashmouz is a really tough opponent. Mederos is hand-picking opponents, and he's a minus 275 favorite. He hasn't looked better than minus 115 in any of his UFC fights yet. Yeah, there could be a few different parlay busters on this card. And let's see. Yeah, Brady's still out of it. Says, ouch. Omari Tundadze saying we were late again. We were definitely not late. Blaze Towns fan saying Wheezy could be the 185-pound champ if he did a few sit-ups. Dude, it would take way more than a few sit-ups, my friend. I probably could cut down to 185. That would probably be my fighting weight, either that or 205. But it would take a lot more than a few sit-ups. We would need a lot of boxing lessons because I can only wrestle and do judo if I could hit a lot. Look at the size of this head, you guys. You think I'm not getting my head boxed off? It would be a long, long road for me to get into the cage against anybody. But yeah, thank you for the Sweet Fat Possum Records. Oxford, Mississippi, stand up. Fat Possum Records always doing their best. All right, you guys, I'm just going to take you to the next fight here. I'm going to start talking about it here. It is going to be Ariane De Silva going up against Kong Wang. Ariane De Silva, 31 years old, 5'6" with a 67-inch reach. Kong Wang, 33 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. Kong Wang's a southpaw, so this is a southpaw versus orthodox matchup on the feet. Both of these ladies come from striking bases. So I think it's going to be a really fun fight. I think it's a kickboxer versus kickboxer. Both of these ladies have some power. obviously Kong Wang's going to have a lot more hype when it comes to her upside with the striking. And she's only got 8 professional fights, though, while Ariane De Silva has 27 professional mixed martial arts fights. And Ariane De Silva has 10 more fights at the UFC level, about 2 more hours of UFC octagon time. So Kong Wang, while there's a lot of hype there, and there's a lot of striking upside, and she's looked really good, let's remember that her wins under the UFC banner are against Paula Luna in Road to UFC, Victoria Leonardo in her UFC debut, and the win after that was against Bruna Brasil, who's just looked okay in the UFC. And by the way, Bruna Brasil is not even a flyweight. She is a strawweight who came up a weight class to take that fight. And the first time that she found somebody that could match her physicality and power on the feet in Gabriela Fernandez, she lost that fight. She was winning the fight. She was winning the minutes at range, but Gabriela was being very patient and was picking her spots. And when she landed with power, it caused problems, and she was able to finish the fight on the ground. So I think that Wang is somebody that is getting a ton of hype, and with hype comes expensive money lines. Right now, this fight is priced with Kong Wang sitting as a... Do they even have a line on this fight? I don't see this fight lined on Bet Online. Unless I'm just man looking and I can't see it. No, I don't see this. So let me see if Best Fight Odds has anything here. Here's Brady. All right. I'm looking for the line on the Ariane De Silva versus Kong Wang fight, and I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Minus 360?
Yeah. Minus 360. Lipsky plus 295.
No thanks, man. I think Kong Wang's a really good striker, Brady, but I'm beginning to think she might be a bit of a hype job.
Yeah. I'm not too happy.
What happened, dude?
You pay over $100 a month for shit internet, and they went down. I guess they went down. Internet went down. $110 a month for Spectrum. So Spectrum, get some help.
Come on, Spectrum, get some help.
I was not getting piped by Colton G.
That's a good thing,
thankfully. But yeah, did get kicked off for a while. So, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the Lipsky versus Wang fight.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think Kong Wang wins the fight, minus 360, and they don't have a total for this, do they?
No, I think they just lined this thing because I haven't seen. It's actually not even listed at all on Bet Online. Like
Weird.
that fight is not available. But when you bring up Best Fight or FightOdds.io, it shows a line of Wang minus 360, Ariane De Silva plus 295.
Okay, so yeah, no total. Kong Wang's minus 360. I think Kong Wang probably wins the fight, maybe by knockout. Like Lipsky's been knocked out like 4 times, submitted once as well. But yeah, we'll take a look at that. All right, yeah, a little bit annoyed. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. We didn't even check the wiki feed on this one. Let's see. Do you think? I know Kong Wang doesn't have a wiki feed. Oh,
that's a shame.
Lipsky has a wow. Whoa. I have never seen a ranking this high.
Oh, really?
On the show. Ariane Lipsky, 4.85 stars on WikiFeed.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
people were big fans of the dogs on Ariane. All right.
Take a look. And they have a nice zoom in feature on WikiFeed as well. Where you just tap where you want to go and it'll zoom in for you. Wow. Okay. All right.
You're getting her at plus 295, Brady.
Let's see. No Kong Wang. No Kong Wang WikiFeed. So 4.85 rating is, I think, the best rating I've seen. Because I know Blanchfield was like 4.68. Barber was like 4.65. So for Lipsky to be 4.85, that's very impressive.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I'm looking at De Silva's record in the UFC when she's ranked as an underdog. as an underdog, she's 4 wins and 5 losses, Brady, with an average line of plus 172 and a return on investment of over 25%. So Ariane is somebody that does not really produce that well as a favorite. She's 2-2 as a favorite. But when she gets shorted, she finds ways to win sometimes. And she put together 3 really impressive wins over J.J. Aldrich, Melissa Gatto, and Casey O'Neill, all 3 of them as an underdog. So she is somebody that can surprise you from time to time. And when you look at the girls that are beating her, it's either people that are actually just destroying her with power, like Priscilla Cachoeira and Karine Silva, or somebody that's out wrestling her, like Montana De La Rosa, or Silva was out wrestling her, as well as Jasmine Jasdavicius. So Wong is going to have to probably knock her out. But if she's not finding knockout power, Ariane De Silva's got a ton of power on the feet that she's shown over and over and over again at this weight class. So I could see Ariane winning some minutes on the feet while this is at distance striking range. I don't think she's going to be very much out of her depth there.
Yep. And Will beat me to it. 4.85 is very respectable. The show is now called Stat Digger. Yes. I got piped with clothes on. Guy must be a professional. You got to be professional to get piped with clothes on. I went to fade Kong Wong's handsome ass, but not sure if this is the spot. She is a little handsome, huh?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But yeah, we already lost that opportunity. Gabriela Fernandez was a massive underdog, and she came through. I think Kong Wang was around minus 1,000 in that fight.
Yep. No, come on, man. Brady had it to talk to his girlfriend Jessica Andrade. I wish. Wong to pipe Lipsky. Everybody Wong Kong tonight. Kong, the man Wong, wins if he stops effing around. He needs to stop effing around, Kong Wong.
Yeah.
The dude needs to stop messing around in there. What is Dr. Peener talking about, man? I don't know. What are Ariane clearly lost to Gatto. I was on Gatto there. Didn't feel too good. Kong will give Lipsky the Wong.
There you go.
Hey, so people think this might be a potential piping. We'll get to that. All right, let's move on to the next fight. And it is going to be a banger. I think this is the featured prelim, and I can kind of see why. We got Joshua Van going against Bruno Silva. We got Josh Van, 23 years old, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Bruno Silva, 35 years old, 5'4" with a 65-inch reach. Van is going to be 12 years younger. He's going to have a 1-inch height advantage, same reach there. Bruno Silva, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against JP Bays. Knockout win against Victor Rodriguez. Submission win against Tyson Nam. Knockout win against Cody Durden, then a knockout loss against Manel Kopp. As far as Joshua Van, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Felipe Bunez. Knockout loss to Charles Johnson, Uncle Weezy's favorite fighter. And a decision win against Edgar Chairez, decision win against Cody Durden, and then a decision win against Ray Saruya. Another line that's just very wide here. Joshua Van is minus 550. And the only problem with that is I'm looking through the career of Joshua Van. And in my opinion, I think Bruno Silva is probably his toughest test. I mean, he beat Kevin Borjas, Zalga Sumagulov, Felipe Bunez, Edgar Chairez, Cody Durden, who Silva beat, lost to Charles Johnson, and then beat Ray Saruya. I kind of feel like Bruno Silva might be his toughest test here, and he's a minus 550 favorite. With that said, though, I mean, I like the style of Joshua Van. He's going out there landing over 8 significant strikes per minute. I love the volume, the pace, the pressure, the cardio. And Silva's one of these guys that just doesn't seem to be a good nail. We've seen him break in fights late. We saw him kind of break against Cobb. I know it may be a potential low blow, but got knocked out there, got submitted in the 3rd round against Khalid Taha. So he definitely does slow down. I don't think he really likes getting hit that much, and Joshua Van's going to hit him in the face quite a bit. So I like Joshua Van here, but I really don't like him at minus 550. If you're getting knocked out by Charles Johnson, I mean, Bruno Silva hits probably 3 times harder than Charles Johnson and has a much better haircut at that. So I really kind of hate the line here, but the pick's got to be Joshua Van. But yeah, Silva's a black belt. He's very physically strong, hits hard for the division. I think Silva's a really good fighter, so I just don't understand this line other than, Joshua Van having a lot of hype. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, a ton of hype on Van. He's a hell of a prospect. I love watching this dude fight. Great volume, great pressure, solid durability. And he's stuffing takedowns now. He's got 81% takedown defense. He only gets controlled for about 12% of his UFC octagon time. And while he's on the feet, he's got a positive 2.7 distance striking differential. Distance striking accuracy that's like 13% better than the divisional average. And the pace and the pressure that this guy puts on you, eventually usually is going to break his opponents. Josh Van has been finished in both of his professional losses. Bruno Silva has been finished in 3 of his 6 professional losses. Bruno Silva's got a ton of power. The guy's landed 6 knockdowns in UFC fights and only absorbed 2. So I could see Bruno Silva landing a big shot here. And we've seen Josh Van knocked out before at this level by a guy in Charles Johnson who's not known for his power, known for being more of a volume striker. So to see Van, who is somewhat hittable sometimes, get knocked out in the 3rd round of the Johnson fight. We know that he's not invincible. We know that the chin can be cracked. I think Van's going to win this fight. But what I like here, Brady, is the under. The under 2.5 rounds sitting at plus 120. Silva's a finisher. Van's a finisher. And both of these guys have been finished before. And because Van has got really good takedown defense, I think he's going to be able to keep this fight standing. And if he does that, the forward pressure, the volume, the vigor with which he throws his strikes, I think somebody's going to get knocked out. So I think the way to play this is just to play violence, because if you think that Van is going to look minus 500, then he probably finishes Silva. But I think almost all of Bruno Silva's win equity in this fight is going to be a finish, a potential finish. He's 4-3 to the decision as a professional, while Josh Van is 5-0 to the decision as a professional. So I think Van's going to be landing more power. I think that he's going to be doing more. He's going to be optically looking a lot better on the feet. And he just throws so much more volume than Bruno does. Bruno throws 8.8 distance strike attempts per minute, and Van's throwing 17.4. So he's literally throwing double the output at distance that Bruno Silva does, and he's got really good power in his own right. So yeah, I think Josh Van probably wins this fight, and I think he probably finds a late 2nd or a 3rd round knockout here. But I think Bruno Silva inside the distance, even potentially, Brady, that could be a good look, or a Bruno Silva finish only prop could be a cheap way to play the Silva side this week, because I think almost all of his upside is if you were to find a finish against Josh Van, because I don't see him winning the minutes of this fight unless he gets takedowns and a bunch of top control time. And I don't think that's going to be really likely against a guy like Van.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely down to lose some more money on some Josh Van violence. 3 fights in a row for me, three L's. 3 L's for me. I couldn't believe he couldn't finish Cody Durden. I mean, Cody Durden showed a ton of toughness there. The Ray Saruya fight was kind of weird. It was like a weird style.
Saruya was trying to wrestle.
Yeah, he shot probably like 20, 30 takedowns. It was annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a finish here is definitely live. I would prefer the fight doesn't go rather than the under, though, just because Van's more of like an attritional, and we've seen Silva finish in the 3rd round twice in the UFC. So in the Taha fight finished over 2.5. So yeah, I kind of want those extra 2.5 minutes, but I agree. I think violence is probably my favorite spot here. Van 2-3 for the culture. I'm ready to get my heart broken again there as well. So yeah, a couple spots sticking out.
Hell yeah. Violence is the way to go in this one, in my opinion.
Is Kong Wong top 5 handsome? No. Not even close. Van is crazy active and fun to watch. Big fan of that dude. Yeah, how can you not be a big fan of Joshua Van? I was shocked when Energy Dick saw him in round 3. Me too, because I've bet Charles Johnson round 3 so many times, and the one time I didn't bet it, he knocked out Joshua Van in the 3rd round. Yeah, it was bad. Is Brady ripping nose nachos? No.
Nose nachos. I know what he means there, but I've never heard him called nose nachos.
What does he mean? Like Cocaine?
Yeah, I think that's what he means. Like when you're saying like ripping knows anything, you're probably talking cocaine.
Yeah, probably just some bong rips. Brady has Colton G in his goons hog tight. Oh, I took care of him. I took care of Colton G. Spectrum is it's bad, man. It's bad. Brady is bricked up. Not at the moment. 125 has been a great division since Dana threatened to trade them all. Agreed. 125 has been good. 125 has been good. Bad beat on the KO 2-3 props in the last two. Yeah, especially that Durden fight. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Even like the Charas fight. Like he had Charas on the ropes a couple times, but that fight somehow went the distance.
Yeah, Charas is stupid durable.
Yeah, he is. No, that's Kim Winslow.
Yeah.
Kim Winslow. It is a very classy background. All right. I say we keep moving on to the next fight. We're going to kick off the main card here with UFC newcomer Patchy Mix. He's taking on Mario Bautista. We got Mix, 31 years old, 5'11" with a 71.5-inch reach. Bautista is 31 years old, 5'9" with a 69-inch reach. Same age. Mix with a 2-inch height advantage and a 2.5-inch reach advantage. Patchy Mix, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He's going to be making his debut here. Not sure. Actually, I'm sure. I thought he pretty clearly lost his last fight against Magomedov, but it was close. It was close, but I thought Magomedov probably deserved the nod there. I was kind of shocked at the outcome. Mario Bautista, I thought he lost his last fight potentially against Jose Aldo, but he's on a 5-fight winning streak as well. Benito Lopez submission win, Guido Canetti submission win, Damon Blackshear decision win, Simone decision win, and then a Jose Aldo decision win. So I'm not shout out Clint from the Die Hard podcast. I'm not sure if you're watching, but Clint is the bantamweight king. So you guys are going to want to tune into his show tomorrow to find out who he's on. I'm interested to see who Clint's on here. And I know Clint's very high on Patchy Mix. Clint thinks that Patchy Mix is the best bantamweight in the world. You know, could go out there and beat O'Malley and Merab and all like that. And I myself am very high on Patchy Mix. I've been waiting for him to get to the UFC. I'm happy he's made it to the UFC because I'm very high on Patchy Mix. I'm not as high on Patchy as Clint is. I do not think he's the best bantamweight in the world, but I do think he's up there. I definitely think he's up there. And I think it's a very interesting test here against Mario Bautista, who's looked very good. Did not have his best performance against Jose Aldo. It was a very close fight. If we're scoring damage over control, Aldo wins the fight, but who knows what these crooked judges are scoring nowadays. Simone win was good. I thought he potentially lost the Blackshear fight, but it was close. But yeah, Batista's been looking really good as of late. This is a really good fight. I think this is going to probably be the Twitter civil war of the week, where a lot of people are going to be on the mixed side, the newcomer, but a lot of people are going to be on Bautista, a guy that's been in the UFC, a guy that's very good as well. So this is a fight I think I might just sit back and take some notes, see how it plays out. Minus 170 for Mix, plus 145 for Bautista. I think this is the second closest line fight on the card, Weezy.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like it should be, right? Because you just never know how these Bellator guys are gonna, do at the UFC level when they get over here, because they're better. They're fighting the best guys that are outside of the UFC, but you just never really know how they match up to the UFC level of competition that Bautista's been seeing for the last 11 fights. But obviously, Mix is a champion. The guy's had tons of fights that have been scheduled for 5 rounds. He's an elite grappler, phenomenal back takes, really good height and reach for this division. 5'11" with a 71.5-inch reach and a southpaw for Patchy Mix. So he's definitely somebody that's got elite measurables for the division. And that length and that skinny ass body that he's got, perfect for the type of grappling style that he brings, where he's definitely can mix in the wrestling, but they call him the human backpack, because this guy can get to your back at any point, whether it's standing or on the mat. And once he's there, he tends to stay there and look to finish fights. 13-0 to the submission is Patchy Mix, 2-0 to the KO, and he's 5-1 to the decision. So the guy can win minutes, he can win moments, and he's going to do it with his grappling. His striking is okay. It's definitely functional. It's definitely going to be serviceable for the division. And Batista's got really good striking, but he's not like some killer out there. It's not like if Patchy Mix doesn't get takedowns that there's no chance that he's going to win the fight, because Mario Bautista is a guy who's winning minutes on the feet, but he's not dominating people and he's not knocking them out cold. So only one knockdown for Mario Bautista in 11 career fights. So I'm leaning from the tape that I've seen so far on Patchy Mix, and I had to kind of catch up. I'm leaning to the Mix side because he does such an efficient job of just finding your back and winning minutes once he's there. And Bautista is somebody that I think, while he's 6-0 to the decision as a pro, I think that he's been in some close ones, right? And I think sometimes he's not really running away with these decision wins that he has. I mean, you see Ricky Simon out there taking him down. Very close fight against Aldo. Very close fight against Damon Blackshear. And I think that's a very similar stylistic matchup to this fight. Damon grappling based, tall and long for the division with solid striking. Similar opponent there. But the thing about that fight was Blackshear took that fight on less than a week's notice, and he had 2 weight cuts in a 7-day period. So he really gassed out in the 3rd round of that fight, and that wound up being the only decisive round of the fight for Bautista. So I'm leaning to the Mix side here early because I think that even if he doesn't find the grappling success, that he's going to be able to keep this fight close enough that when he does find grappling success, it might not be much, but it might be enough to bank him the round.
Yeah, I can't wait for this fight. Can't wait for it. I think it's a great fight to kick off the main card here. So where did this line open up? So Patchy Mix opened up, wow, -110. They opened it up at Pick'em, and he's currently -170 now. Bautista opened up -110, currently +145. A lot of people are pissed off at Bautista. A lot of people really hate this guy. They really hate him for the Aldo fight. The over-under set at 2.5. The over 2.5, -170. The under 2.5 is +132. The total's kind of interesting. Like, this fight, I think, probably goes to decision, but Bautista has been finished in all of his losses. And if Mix does get your back, potentially could find a sub there. But yeah, kind of lean decision.
I do too for a 3-round fight, because Bautista is going to be difficult to take down and hold down. But if Mix gets on your back, man, you're going to be playing defense and you're going to be praying for that round to end.
Yeah, he's very dangerous on the ground. Patchy Mix is when I try to grow out my beard. Patchy has to be the milking. The MMA gods will never forgive Mario. Oh, gosh. Oh, this fight is a banger. This fight is a banger. Freedom liking Patchy. Justin saying, I feel like Patchy gets Mix gets pretzeled by his girl. That he enjoys some weird. Who's Patchy? Isn't Patchy dating? Is it Suarez?
Tatiana Suarez.
So he's getting pretzeled by his girl. I don't know. Patchy is overrated. Super Mario will smash your boy. I'm losing my voice. If Patchy loses, Tatiana's going to pipe him on site right in the arena. Patchy decision. Should go better than Pitbull's debut.
Oh, God, it better.
Couldn't go any worse.
I'm calling Patricio Pitbull Patricio Shih Tzu from now on because I don't know what the hell that was, but it was a horrible performance.
I almost fell asleep in the arena watching that one. Cantley -170 with the Bellator guy, especially after Pitbull just dropped a turd in his debut. What I will say is Pitbull was like 37. I mean, Mix is in his prime here, but
yeah.
Patchy is going to put the Mix in mixed martial arts. Hey, I've been following Patchy and his grappling skills since early Bellator. Spivac's got my back. I hope not, man. I hope not. Come on. We got Hot Hand saying, Weezy, I'm coming from Detroit to Chi-Town for the DDP fight. We need to do a meetup or something. The Stat Diggers crew, who's all going? Let's do a meet and greet. We have to have security just in case Colton G shows up, though.
Yeah, especially if you get out here for this. If Avery gets out here for this, we're gonna have to go to one of the bigger places in the city where I know there's a bunch of people here in the city that would love to get together and do it. So you have to stay tuned for that UFC 319 Stat Diggers because we're gonna drop the plans on where we're gonna be hanging out here in this city so that all you Stat Diggers fans can get to us.
Hopefully not the weird ones. There's some weird people in the chat. No offense, like that guy Joel. Remember Joel?
Yeah, he was going to see you on the beach in Miami, I remember.
This dude said he wanted to have sex with me. Like, I don't want to have sex with you guys. But especially you, Joel, if you even want. And then Colton G, I don't want to be in the same state as Colton G. That dude's off the hinge. And I also don't want to be in the same state as Sergey Spivac. That guy's terrifying as well.
You don't want to be around him. That's especially only during the day.
YouTube it live. We could do an in-person live stat tickers. That'd be fun.
Could have a party at my place the night before, maybe. I'll take the girlfriend out. We'll get the turntables going here. We'll have a lot of local Chicago beer. I should even go pour myself a Paloma right about now. You take the rest of the comments home here before the next fight. I'm getting myself a drink.
Bring over Michelle Pereira. He'll bring some hose. Maybe let's bring Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson will bring the hose. Brady and Weezy, you guys have to film the meetup in Chi-Town. That'd be cool. Brady turning down free sex. Yeah. Just don't invite Spivac inside and you're safe. I agree, man. That guy's terrifying. Damn, that shit sounds fun. I'd love to crack a brew with stat diggers. Me as well. It'd be fun, man. It'd be fun. Jessica Andrade has a penthouse apartment in Rockford. There we go. I might have to hit her up, dude. I wonder if Liang Na's hanging around Chicago. I'll have to see. All right, guys. Let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Vicente Luque taking on Kevin Holland. We have Vicente Luque, 33 years old, 5'11" with a 76-inch reach. Kevin Holland, 32 years old, 6'3" with an 81-inch reach. Holland 1 year younger. Holland with a 4-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. Luque is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Decision loss to Bilal Muhammad. Knockout loss to Jeff Neal. Decision win against Rafael dos Anjos. Knockout loss to Joaquin Buckley. And then a submission win against Themba Garimbo. As far as Kevin Holland, he is 2-3 in his last 5 fights as well. Decision loss against Michael Page. Submission win against Mikhail Olazechuk. Knockout loss against Roman Dolidze. Submission loss to Rene de Ritter. And then a decision win against Gunnar Nelson. So this is a very interesting fight here. So my biggest hit ever since I've started tracking bets, since I've started betting, was on the Luque Garimbo fight. I hit the trifecta. I had the under 2.5 big at plus money. I had Luque on the money line. And then I also had Luque by submission at plus 600. And Luque went out there and submitted Themba Garimbo, right? So the reason I liked Luque in that fight is because Themba is a guy that's just going to try to hump your leg for 15 minutes. You know, this is a guy that's going to panic wrestle you for 15 minutes. And I thought at some point Luque with that Darce, might snatch at the neck on Themba. And he did it a lot quicker than I expected. But I'm flipping the script. I liked Luque in his last fight. I absolutely hate this matchup for Luque, and here's why. Luque was a guy that we said it, Weezy. He's one of those guys that we thought would never get knocked out. Never, ever, never in a million years. It was this. Luque's not going to get knocked out. And then he faces Jeff Neal. And not only does he get knocked out, the dude almost dies. I mean, that was one of the most brutal knockouts you'll see. Face first in the canvas. Keith Peterson. That's back when Keith was drunk and all the time. It was a bad stoppage. Face first. And apparently he had like a brain bleed, like a brain hemorrhage. And probably shouldn't have ever stepped foot back in the cage again. But he does. He does, Weezy, and he fights Rafael dos Anjos. And what does Luque do for the first time ever? He wrestles. He wrestles for 25 minutes. He gets 8 takedowns. 8 takedowns was actually more takedowns than he's got the entire rest of his career combined. He got 8 takedowns. And after the fight, he said something that I'll never forget. He says, basically, I was scared to get hit. I was scared to take a shot against RDA. So he wrestled. And I never thought that those words would come out of Luque's mouth, because this is a guy that he's always going to war. Every single Luque fight's a war, but he didn't want to get hit against RDA. Not a good sign, right? And then he fights Joaquin Buckley, and he does something that I never thought I'd see from Luque. He quits. It was one of the biggest quit jobs I've seen in a very long time. He pulls guard for no reason in the second round, and then just turtles up, covers up, and quits in the second round, right? I don't think Luque wants to get hit. I think Luque is going to try to wrestle here. I think he's going to try to take Holland down to the ground, and I don't think he's going to be able to. That's not Luque's specialty. He was able to do it against a very small lightweight in RDA, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it against Kevin Holland, who's just going to be much bigger in this matchup. I think Holland's going to hit Luque good, and I could see Luque quitting. I could see Luque looking for the door. I truly believe that Luque does not want to be hit, and he's going to get hit this Saturday, and he's going to get hit very, very hard. I like Kevin Holland here, and I like him quite a bit. The only problem, and it's a big problem, I was looking at the lines like 2 weeks ago, and I saw Kevin Holland at minus 150. I'm like, what? He's minus 150 against Luque? And I never got to taping it, and then I got to it today, and it's like he's minus 250 now. So a lot of people are on Kevin Holland. He's a big favorite, and it wouldn't shock me if this line kept on going, which is kind of terrifying. Though at the end of the day, it is Kevin Holland. He has horrible fight IQ, but I think he probably knocks out Luque. So give me Kevin Holland here, but the money line is getting pounded as we speak. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's two different versions of Kevin Holland, dude. There's the 185 Kevin Holland, and then there's the 170 Kevin Holland. And the 170 Kevin Holland is very good. He's just very good, dude. I mean, the guy's got okay takedown defense. He's got above average offensive grappling. And, you know, at 170 pounds, it's going to be very difficult to strike against somebody as durable as Holland and somebody that's bringing a 6'3" frame with an 81-inch reach to the 170-pound division. It's just not something you're going to see a lot. You don't see that kind of size and length. And Kevin's good, you know, because he's so game. He's always been a durable fighter. He's been finished a lot, but he's not getting knocked out, you know? Like his knockout losses, they come against there was the Thompson fight where he broke his hand, and then there was an injury against Roman Dolidze to his rib. And outside of that, he's never been knocked out. So you know that the guy's a durable guy. Luque might be able to catch him in a Darce choke because he's a phenomenal grappler, and I think he's probably is going to be grappling here. I mean, obviously that would be the way to do it because he is afraid of getting hit now. And because of that, you know, Luque's still only 33 years old, but because of that, you know, it's going to be really hard to trust him going forward because you watched so many Luque fights and you would always say, this guy gets hit so much. He's so defensively irresponsible, but he was also so durable. So you could always count on Luque's heart, his durability, his output. And if he was able to kind of like get over that hill where his opponent started slowing down, that's when he could win fights. Kevin Holland's not going to slow down. Kevin Holland is more durable than Luque is at this point in his career. He's a little bit younger. He's 4 inches taller. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage. And I think he's just as dangerous on the ground against Luque. So I think this is a very clear Holland spot. But like the only thing that's keeping me from just kind of like laying the juice and just taking the units here is the fact that you're laying juice on Kevin Holland.
Oh,
And if it goes tits up, you know, you're just gonna like I'm already on a losing streak. You know, so like this, you know, if I were to lay juice on Kevin Holland this week, it would probably go tits up and I'd probably lose the money. And then I'd be like, you know, putting my head in the oven with the no funeral sign taped to my back. So I don't know, man. I think that this is a very clear Kevin Holland spot, but at the end of the day, it's Kevin Holland, and he could pull a stunt, Brady.
he could get Darced, like if he makes a mistake on the ground, or if this fight hits the ground, or like Holland's been submitted. I know he's a black, but he's been submitted 4 times.
Holland has been submitted 4 times as a professional, 3 times in the UFC. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think it should be Holland here, but it's just annoying. Like, yeah, there you go, minus 150.
Yeah,
would have loved it. Would have probably max bet it. Would have probably max bet that. I still don't hate it at minus 250. It's just annoying. Wish it could be more than a unit, but all I can get down these days at once. Kevin Holland shaves the ass of legendary Luque in rounds 1 or 2. Luque needs to retire. He needed to retire in 2023. He probably should have after that Neal fight. Like it was a horrible injury. We need the Kevin Holland that piped Buckley here. I think we're gonna get a good version of Kevin Holland. That Holland that fought Gunnar Nelson, I was very impressed with him. He looked great there. He showed heart. He showed a lot of heart. Nelson had him in a bad spot in the 3rd round, was able to fight out of it. That was a great performance by Kevin Holland. 170 Kevin Holland's the way to go. I feel like the sub either way can be live. Yeah, Luque is always live for that Darce, and if Holland hurts Luque, and Luque shoots in. You could see Holland maybe even snatch something up. Yeah, Holland club and sub. Maybe Holland Darces Luque. We've seen Holland. Holland has his fair share of Darces as well. Could see a Darce either way here. Holland and Goff have a combined fight IQ of 3. Oh, Moneyline got piped like Mia Khalifa. Yeah, got piped, man. They got piped. Pretty, please don't moan like that ever again. This must be not in the M's for first time watching the show. Welcome to your first time. Who's more washed, Luque or Holland? Luque by a country mile. I mean, Holland,
would say so because Holland, of the brain bleed, and only because of that.
Yeah, and he's just taking too much. He's taking a lot of damage. I mean, Luque's 33 years old, but in fight years, he's like 80. Taking a lot of damage.
He has.
Holland's real nickname is Stunt. I hear you, Wheezy, and he's pulled many of them.
Yes, he has.
Many of them. All right, let's keep moving on. So before we do, if you guys could like the video, subscribe. We go live every Sunday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, never a second late. We've got to shout out our sponsor, and that's our guy, Avery. Shout out Avery for sponsoring the show. Thank you so much. Guys, go give him a follow at MMA_Very on X. And shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys for hanging out with us on a late Sunday night. Very good card. And looking forward to getting to the rest of these fights. All right, so moving on to the next fight. It is going to be a fight we talked about already. It's Kelvin Gastelum going against Joe Pyfer. We got Gastelum, 33 years old, 5'9", 71-inch reach. Pyfer, 28 years old, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. Pyfer, 5 years younger. Pyfer's going to have a 5-inch height advantage and a 4-inch reach advantage. Gastelum is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Decision loss to Robert Whitaker. Decision loss to Jared Cannonier. Decision win against Chris Curtis. Submission loss to Sean Brady. And then a decision win against Daniel Rodriguez. As far as Joe Pyfer, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Alan Amadovsky. Knockout win against GM3. Submission win against Abdulrazak Alassane. Decision loss against Jack Hermanson. And then a knockout win against Marc-Andre Barrios. So this fight was supposed to happen, I believe, in Mexico. And the altitude, right, was a big talking point. And that was kind of the one thing that kind of scared me on the Pyfer side. But we're not going to have to deal with that here. And I like Pyfer here. I like him quite a bit, I'd say. But he is a really big favorite. Minus 365, it looks like, for Pyfer. But on most books, he's like minus 400. So another big favorite here. But I kind of think Pyfer can win this by any method. I feel like he could potentially even be the first person to knock out Gastelum. I feel like he could potentially use his wrestling, take him down, and control him, maybe sub Gastelum. I feel like he could do the better work over the course of 15 minutes. And I don't think 15 minutes is going to be a problem for Pyfer. If it was 25, it'd maybe be a different story. But yeah, 15 minutes for Pyfer shouldn't be an issue. I think he wins this fight. Not sure how, though. I could see any method here. Gastelum is very tough, but I like Pyfer to get the job done. It's just minus 365. It's another chalky favorite on the board. Wheezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Pyfer pissed off the entire country of Mexico.
Yeah.
He really pissed him. I mean, he talked all kinds of shit. You know, he just had some really choice words there. So we're getting this fight remade. Well, what was that, like 2 or 3 months ago? Maybe it was this year, right?
Yeah, it was this year. It was a couple months ago.
Yeah. So, Gastelum is somebody I'm just not really taking seriously at this point. You know, the guy, when you show up, 12 pounds fat for a fight, it's clear that you're not working hard at all. You're just, and Gastelum's been, he's only 33 years old, but dude, this guy's got 23 UFC fights since the year 2013. There might even be more fights than that, so he's been here forever. We watched this guy grow up in the UFC. He was the guy who beat Uriah Hall, who was considered to be unbeatable on that season of The Ultimate Fighter, beats him in the finale, and then goes on to have a really great career here at the UFC level, bouncing back and forth between 170 and 185. Kelvin's as durable as they come in terms of you just cannot knock this guy out. He's got very good boxing. He has above average wrestling, and he's just a really tough out because of the durability, because of the heart, because of the boxing, and he can mix in the grappling. But Pyfer is a really good moment winner, and I think he might even be the better wrestler here. The guy's a very good wrestler, very talented grappler. So the fact that he's 5 years younger than Kelvin, that he's a lot taller, because Kelvin's just a fat welterweight. Pyfer's an actual middleweight with middleweight power. And Pyfer is the kind of guy, I think he's going to want to kill Kelvin just because he's from the country that he's so mad at. You know, like this guy hates Mexico, and Kelvin Gastelum is originally from there, or is at least his parents are from there. So, yeah, I mean, like this is going to be Joe Pyfer, I think. I think he's going to win this fight. He might be the first person to knock out Gastelum, but, you know, after what Sean Brady did to Kelvin, I think we might see Joe look for a submission here. Take the easy way out because Joe's a smart guy. He knows how durable Kelvin is. So maybe he'll want to take the path of least resistance and try to get him with a submission on the mat because Joe's just getting better. You know, the grappling isn't necessarily elite or anything like that, but it's just going to get better. The guy's only 28 years old in a division that's, you know, that you can produce at to a much higher age. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Pyfer. I think he might get a finish here. And I'm just not taking Gastelum that seriously. So I don't think this is a big step up for Joe.
Yeah, I didn't have a bet on this first fight because I picked Pyfer by sub, but the sub prop was awful, dude. It was like plus 350 or something. And then him inside the distance was like maybe plus money, maybe like plus 100. And I need a better price against a guy who in Gastelum who's like known for like that's what he's known for, his durability. Kind of wanted a better price. So I ended up passing, but I think Pyfer can win by any method, decision, submission, knockout. So maybe a parlay piece for Pyfer for me, if anything. But parlays have been killing me the last 2 years, so I don't know. Got screwed on a parlay last week thanks to Zach Reese and Dusko.
Yeah, God, my parlay stunk worse than yours, dude.
Playing touch butt for 15 minutes. Well, like, what the hell was it? That wasn't a fight. That wasn't a fight.
Well, you know, at least the bookies kicked our ass for betting the under there. That was a fight, and we lost.
True that. True that. I've seen better fights at the Waffle House than that fight.
We got to get that Trevor Peak training footage at the Waffle House, man. I want to see that.
Dude, those waitresses at the Waffle House are tough. Those waitresses are tough, man. Some of the toughest chicks you'll see at the Waffle House. Gastelum is losing to Joe Pyfer. Pyfer pulled some stunts here. Getting out of Mexico, Gastelum was in the best shape he has been in a good minute.
Yeah, if he was in good shape, why couldn't he make 170?
Yeah, I thought he was going to at one point.
Yeah.
He was going to try to make 170. I'm going to watch the Brady Bags podcast to see if he calls a sub on Calvin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see that too. I remember when he called the knockout against Gerald Mearshart. I want to see what he's thinking. And there's always a better fight at the Waffle House. Yeah, those fights get crazy. They get dangerous. The food's great though. The food is, you love it. They do a great job,
too, dude.
They do a great job. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be the co-main event. It is Juliana Pena going against Kayla Harrison. We got Pena, 35 years old, 5'6" with a 69-inch reach. Kayla Harrison, 34 years old, 5'8" with a 66-inch reach. Kayla Harrison, 1 year younger, 2-inch height advantage, and a 3-inch reach disadvantage. Pena is 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Submission loss to GDR. That fight feels like so long. That fight feels like it was 6 years ago, that GDR fight. It feels so long ago. Sarah McMahon, submission win. Submission win against Amanda Nunes. Decision loss to Nunes, and then a decision win against Raquel Pennington. As far as Kayla Harrison, she is 4-1 in her last 5 fights. She made her debut against Holly Holm, won that fight by second-round submission, and then won a decision over Ketlin Vieira in her last fight. So it looks to me like Harrison is tied with the biggest favorite on the card. We have Kayla Harrison, minus 600. The 70-year-old Azamat Mirzakhanov, minus 600. And then I thought we had another minus 600 favorite. But yeah, she's tied with being the first or the biggest favorite on the card here against Juliana Pena. And yeah, I think she probably wins, probably pays off this price tag. The only concern would be if this fight were to get like extended, like talking 3rd, 4th, 5th round, how's that cardio going to hold up? She cuts a ton of weight, but I think Harrison probably gets it done within the first 3 rounds here. And the line and the total certainly seems to indicate that. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this co-main event?
So I don't think the fight is Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. I think the real fight here is going to be Kayla Harrison versus the Scales. Dude, she's killing herself, Brady, to make 135. So I'm really interested. There's going to be no action whatsoever on this fight for me. until I see Kayla Harrison weigh in. And then from what I see there, if anything interests me, maybe I'll jump then. But to me, if Kayla shows up on weight looking good, I mean, I think she's going to destroy Juliana. She's just that good. We've seen Juliana submitted twice in this organization. So if Kayla gets her down to the ground, I don't think it's going to be long before it's number 3. I mean, if Jermaine Durandamy, who's a pure kickboxer, is able to submit you, yeah, Kayla Harrison could submit you. Juliana Pena, Brady, over 11 UFC fights, has 23% takedown defense. 23% takedown defense. She's being controlled on the mat for 32.6% of her UFC octagon time. Now, Kayla Harrison, on the other side, is controlling her opponents for 58.5% of her UFC octagon time and is being controlled for 1%. So that's about a 58-1 ratio of control time for to control time allowed for Kayla Harrison against the young lady with 23% takedown defense in Juliana Pena. So we're going to have to see how Kayla looks on the scales. Can she make 135 without literally dying? I don't know. I mean, they might have to bring back 145 just so Kayla can have a real fight with Amanda Nunes. I think that's probably what they're going to have to do, because I just don't think Kayla Harrison is a 135er. She's clearly killing herself to make weight. So I think that's the fight, Brady. I think the fight takes place on Friday afternoon at about 11 o'clock Central Time, and we'll find out then whether Kayla's ready to get that belt put on her. But if this gets into the octagon and Kayla's ready to go, I just don't really see much of a path for Juliana. Kayla's a killer.
Yeah, I think the path would be like a Hail Mary, like late in the fight. Harrison's getting tired and Pena snatches something up after getting she Homer Simpsons and gets like a late fin. I think that's kind of her path there. Kayla Harrison opened up minus 700 actually. She's currently minus 600. Juliana Pena opened up plus 525, currently plus 425. The over-under set at 4.5. The under 4.5 just getting smashed all day. It opened up at plus 145, and it's now minus 155. I'm not the best at math, but that's an insane move.
That's like a 20% move in implied probability, my friend. 20%.
Oh, God.
So they made a mistake opening that, because I think that, I think Kayla is going to get a finish here. But like we said, if she winds up killing herself to make 135, a Juliana Pena finish is not out of the realm of possibility here. Yeah,
I think the total probably should have been set at 3.5, and would have loved to get the under at plus money. That's crazy. But yeah, minus 155, and that number probably gets worse throughout the week. Yeah. How did Pena win the belt twice? I don't know. That Nunes fight, the first Nunes fight was weird, man. It felt like a fever dream. It didn't feel real. Nunes was gassed like 5 minutes in. It was a weird situation there. Tough girls always work at a Dollar Tree. I don't know. I haven't been to a Dollar Tree in a very long time. I don't know. I like the fight goes. It'd be a sweat. But yeah, Pena is tough for what it's worth. She is tough. GDR milked Pena real good. Yeah, she did. She certainly did. Last fight, Kayla had not yet learned a single or double leg. Did a coach help her out with that?
So she's a judo medalist, and you can't attack legs in judo. So judo players never learn single legs, double legs. They never learn any kind of wrestling techniques. You're not even allowed to lock your hands standing up in judo. But I will say this, Kayla's wrestling is phenomenal, and it has been for years. When she went to America Top Team, she learned how to wrestle. And if you can teach somebody how to wrestle, it's going to be a 2-time Olympic judo medalist. They already know how to move you. They already know how to get you going one way and bring you back the other. Judo players have elite balance, great strength, and they know how to move you around. So that kind of technique that she has to be a 2-time Olympic judo gold medalist makes it extremely easy for her to be a solid technical wrestler. And when you watch the old tape on Kayla, she was shooting double legs, she was shooting single legs, and she was getting them. I think her wrestling was already above average going into the last fight against Ketlin Vieira, who has phenomenal takedown defense. So, yeah, I just think that Kayla Harrison is elite, incredible. She's the pinnacle right now of female mixed martial arts if she can make 135 pounds. And it's not 136 this time, Brady. This is for the belt. She's got to make 135. And that extra pound, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's a nightmare. I mean, these ladies, their wiki feet scores. I mean, 4.3 for Kayla Harrison, 4.35 for Juliana Pena. Some low scores from the for the co-main here on the feet score, but I think Pena's is slightly better wiki feet score. And yeah, we're not sponsored by Wiki Feet, by the way, not yet at least. Damari brings it up. This will be the first time that Kayla has to cut the extra pounds. Yeah, seeing her on the scale is something I would be looking forward to. I can smell the milk in the cage already. Oh gosh. Oil Kayla up. Oh my goodness. Juliana's striking even scares me to pick her. 3 straight fights she received a knockdown, even though on tape she's more willing to use boxing combos than Kayla. Gonna be a puddle of
dulce de leche.
Leche after this milking by Kayla. Is that Spanish for milk? Leche?
It is Spanish for caramel. So dulce de leche is burnt milk, which is actually just caramel.
Oh my. Why would there be caramel on the octagon?
Burnt milk, Brady. So what they're saying is that it's not only going to be a milking, but then they're going to be lit on fire afterwards. So this could be a really rough night for Juliana Pena.
That sounds very rough. 2% all over the canvas. They're going to need a ShamWow. If somebody pulls out of the main event, Kayla is the backup.
Could you just see her just mauling O'Malley on the canvas if Merab has to pull out?
Yeah. Oh. Weezy explaining everything I look for in a woman. There you go. Pena lost her last fight. It was a robbery. Yeah, I scored it for Pennington, but it was close.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, who cares? That's a sick comment. Caleb milking more than oh my gosh. All right. Let's move on. Now, I don't think we'll see any wiki feed of these guys here. We got the main event is Merab Dvalishvili going against Sean O'Malley. We got Merab, 34 years old, 5'6", 68-inch reach. Sean O'Malley, 30 years old, 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. O'Malley, 4 years younger, 5-inch height advantage, 4-inch reach advantage. O'Malley is 3-1 and 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. No contest against Munoz. Decision win against Petr Yan. Knockout win against Sterling. Decision win against Vera. And then a decision loss against Merab. As far as Merab, he is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Jose Aldo. A decision win against Petr Yan. Decision win against Henry Cejudo. A decision win against Sean O'Malley. And then a decision win against Umar Nurmagomedov. So these guys have obviously fought before. The difference, though, Wheezy, is the first time these two fought, Merab was like plus 115, plus 110. Now we have Merab sitting as a minus 275 favorite after the first fight. So interesting line this time around. What are your thoughts on this rematch here?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fight's going to play out very similar to the way the first one plays out. But like you said, the big difference this time is that the market's starting to figure out how good Merab Dvalishvili is and how difficult his style is to deal with. No matter where you excel in MMA, Merab is always going to have better conditioning than you. He's always going to do more than you. So that pace becomes a weapon that so few fighters are able to deal with, because even somebody like Umar Nurmagomedov, who's so beautifully technical in all areas of mixed martial arts, eventually this guy just found ways to stay in his face and not let him, close the distance, make him wrestle, tire him out, and he got him tired. He got him tired and he edged him out. It was a very close fight, but I don't think Merab ever really looks like minus 300, even in the Peter Yan fight. Like, he wasn't landing any damage. He shot 52 takedowns and he got like 9 of them, but he didn't get a ton of control time. He never had Yan on skates or was just like mauling him. He just kind of won the minutes. And that's what Merab does. He wins minutes. He's an expert at winning minutes. Pace, pressure, volume, good defensive wrestling, enough offensive wrestling in order to win enough minutes there. And he's durable and he just doesn't give a fuck. So he never fucks off. He never stops fighting. And it's very optically pleasing to the judges. O'Malley, though, is going to be 5 inches taller than him, have a 4-inch reach advantage, and he's the much smoother striker. He's 4 years younger, and he's going to be the guy more likely to land big shots on the feet. There's a couple of issues here. Like, there were some pictures of Sean O'Malley circulating a while ago where he was on crutches with a cast on one of his feet, and Merab Dvalishvili is an absolute maniac who hurts himself for fun. And if he's healthy, he'll go out and intentionally injure himself because I don't think he likes to be healthy. I don't think he thinks it would be fair if he fought these guys healthy. So now he broke his own toe, and now he's going to be like going in there with 9 toes, and you're going to wonder if he's going to be able to wrestle. Well, I don't wonder about that, because like, how many guys do you know that would dive headfirst into a frozen lake, fail to break the ice with your head, and then decide, what would be the right move right now? For me to try again. And he did that. He tried again, and then he broke the ice with his head the second time. And for Merab, that's a win. For people like you or I, we're in the hospital with fused vertebrae in our neck, and we probably are paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of our lives. So this guy is just different. He's different. It's hard to cap his fights, Brady. I mean, Umar's better than him everywhere, right? He's the better striker. He's the better wrestler. He's younger. He's faster. All that shit. And Merab goes out there and beats him 3 out of the 5 rounds. I mean, it was a very close fight. You probably could have even scored it for Umar. But the fact that Merab can beat somebody of that level of fighting shows you what a unique and he's like inimitable, like it's hard to describe the confluence of positive attributes that this guy has and how it leads to the crazy successes. Is he on a 12-fight winning streak?
Sounds about right.
I think he's on like a 12-fight winning streak or some shit. I mean, this guy is just winning. And I mean, his last 5 opponents are Jose Aldo, Peter Yan, Hendry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, and Umar Nurmagomedov. So I think he's going to get the job done again, man. I think he's going to make Sean wrestle. I think he's going to wear him out. I think Sean's going to land some big strikes and look good at points of this fight. And I think it'll probably be like a 3-2 Dvalishvili decision here. But he probably doesn't cover the price tag, but he probably gets his hand raised here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wide line because I do see some paths for Sean. It's like Sean can, like, we've seen O'Malley hurt, or we've seen Dvalishvili hurt, plenty of times. Remember Marlon Moraes almost finished him. I was there a lot. I'm guessing Herzog was probably reffing that one, huh? Just off the top.
Dude, I had Marlon Moraes to win by first round KO in that fight at something like plus 900, and I couldn't believe that fight didn't finish in the first.
Yeah, either Herzog or Peterson is probably reffing that one. But yeah, I could see O'Malley hurting Merab, and I could see a scenario where this fight goes to the crooked, corrupt judges, which it's heavily favored to do so. The over 4.5 is minus 300. And like, who does the UFC want to win? I mean, it's clearly Sean O'Malley, right? We could see some sketchy scorecards, some damage over control type situations at debate. So I don't know if I feel comfortable laying minus 300 anywhere near it on Merab here. I think maybe like a plus 3.5 on O'Malley or like a finish only could be interesting.
Yeah. The O'Malley finish only. Somebody in my Discord shouted that out, and I think it's a good look. Merab's really not much of a finisher, but we also need to kind of know where Sean is at this point, because Sean's on an 8-month layoff. Sean hasn't fought since the last time he fought Merab. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds coming off that loss.
Yeah, it will be. I bet they will try to poison Merab so Sean can. We could see a poisoning. We've seen some weird stuff. This, you remember the locker rooms were painted. People were getting affected by the paint in the locker rooms. Mike
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Mike Davis was getting affected by the paint in the locker rooms. I remember that.
But you don't even have to poison Merab. That's the thing. You wouldn't even have to do that. You just be like, hey, Merab, I dare you to drink that glass of water with the razor blades in it. That's all you'd have to do. You do it.
Agreed. So there's a Wiki Fit Men too. Thanks for Edward for letting us know. So Edward was on the Wiki Feet for Men, and he looked up Merab and Sean, and it's true. I had to double check, but Sean O'Malley has a 4.94 Wiki Feet score, which is by far the best feet score I've seen for a fighter. We're talking better than maybe even, I think Alexa Grasso had a 5 actually, but we're talking better than Blanchfield, better than Barber, better than anybody on this card. Sean O'Malley, 4.94 feet score, and Merab has a 5-star, but the only problem with Merab's 5-star feet score is it only has 1 vote, and I could bet you anything that 1 vote is our guy Lou Sassoli.
Dude, it's 5 out of 10 though, right?
No, it's just 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars. So I think Lou Sassoli rated Merab, the only vote rated Merab a 5. So I don't think we can really count that. O'Malley has
a kickboxer have a 4.94 Wiki Feet rating. I mean, his feet have to be an absolute mess.
I don't know. I don't really want to check, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't really want to.
I agree. I'm with you.
I don't want to look at it. Merab's going to pick up Sean like sticks in a yard. Hilarious time to tune into the show. I think the crowd would sway towards Merab. It's in New Jersey. Yeah, probably. Potentially. Where's the doctor? I heard Sean isn't jerking the peen for this camp. Would love his input. I would love some input as well from Dr. Peener. Yeah, apparently Sean has not jerked his peen all camp, and he's not playing video games or smoking weed.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, he'll load that testosterone loading, and he shouldn't be playing video games anyway. He's got better shit to do. I would think somebody with millions of dollars, would have better things to do than play video games. But
yeah. Merab has a staggering 15% finish rate. Dana White is praying to the MMA gods that the Sugar Show shows up. It wasn't me, I can tell you. So it wasn't Muhammad that rated Merab 5-star. It was Lou Sassoli. No doubt in my mind.
It had to be.
No doubt in my mind. Yeah, I mean, is that going to be so throughout the week on MMA Twitter and on YouTube, there's always like a talking point people will bring up. Is this the talking point that we're going to hear on all the shows this week?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is because it's a compelling data point.
Is it? Like I'm not a doctor, especially a doctor of penises. Is that a big thing? I
mean, I've heard people say that you're not supposed to be jerking it because it allows you to keep the testosterone that's in your body. Like it loads it up and it makes it so that you're stronger and can perform better. I've heard that. I don't know though.
Very, very interesting stuff. But we did it. Let's move on to the Stat Diggers Parlay of the Week. Been on a skid. It's been a rough go for the Stat Diggers Parlay of the Week. We kicked off the year on a very strong start, but these last couple weeks have not been great. Last week we lost with the under 1.5 in the Dusko Todorovic fight. So it's time to turn it around, Weezy. We're each going to come up with the leg, and this leg is going to hit. Is there anything sticking out to you for your Stat Diggers leg?
I think I know what it is, but I'm going to let you go first because I know you're going to take the leg that I'm getting, and I'm going to try to find something else.
Well, there's 2 legs I like. There's 2 legs I like. There's a money line and there's a total. I'll go with the money line here. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland on the money line, -250, I guess. It's getting blown out a little bit, and I know it's hard to trust Kevin Holland, But what I trust even less than Kevin Holland is the durability, the heart of Vicente Luque at this stage of his career. Give me Kevin Holland as my leg at minus 250.
Yeah, can we get well, let's parlay that with Markel Mederos pulling out of the fight and taking a fight against Rayan Amanda 2 weeks later so that he can get an easy win. We'll see what the line on that is. Yeah, I was gonna say I knew you were gonna go with the Holland money line. I'm looking maybe at the Patchy Mix money line here, even though it's getting a little bit blown out. And I also think that the under 4.5. Yeah, let's do the under 4.5 rounds in the Pena Harrison fight. Now, this is a play that I'm making, assuming that Kayla shows up ready to go. You know, and then if that's the case,
yeah,
I think that she'll get a finish. But if she shows up like dead on the scales and makes weight, but like, you know, then you can maybe see Pena getting a late finish as well if Kayla can't perform well.
That parlay comes out to plus 130.
I think that's not bad.
Yep. I like it. I actually like both spots quite a bit. So if this doesn't hit, something went wrong. Something did go wrong. All right, Weezy, it is time now for the piping of the week. Last week, the piping of the week not only let us down, but kind of got piped himself. It was Billy Ray Goff. He went full retard, clinched up with Ramiz, was trying to grapple with him, and got his neck snatched up. So we need to rebound. And luckily, Weezy, we have so many options. I mean, there are so many pipings. Like, I think this new guy, you can absolutely pipe Jekka. I think that somebody could get piped in the Gustafsson Chaos Williams fight. I think that Kong Wong might even be able to pipe Lipsky. I think that we could see Mirzakhanov pipe Brenton Hibero. I think Joshua Van, maybe more of a milking in the Van fight, maybe a prolonged milking across 3, maybe late finish. I think Holland can milk Luque. I think we could see Pyfer milk gas or pipe Gastelum. I think we could see, I think that's about it. So I'm going to give my option. You can give your option, and then we'll kind of try to decide here. So I'll give 2. The two that I like, Weezy, is going to be Kevin Holland and who's that old man? Oh, Mirzakhanov. I think Mirzakhanov's going to walk to the cage with a cane and a big gray hair and a big gray beard, and he's going to knock out Hibero in the very first round. So those are my 2. Any other ones sticking out?
Those are the ones I like too, but I would say let's go with Mirzakhanov this week. It's short notice replacement in Hibero, and there's a massive skill gap there. And I just think that, you know, Mirzakhanov is gonna destroy this dude.
Okay, so the piping of the week, Azamat Mirzakhanov to pipe. Brenton Hibero on site.
There we go.
All right, so the on-site piping of the week is Azamat Mirzakhanov to pipe Brenton Hibero on site. And yeah, there we go. He's going to get it done. I don't care how old he is. The dude's a beast. He's 80 years old, but he still can fight. He still can fight. All right, now it is time for the moment everybody's been waiting for. Almost 3 hours into the show, the moment comes down to this 11-week winning streak. UFC 313. Carlos Leal kicked us off strong, and we haven't stopped since. The milking of the week, undefeated, has not lost yet. I was worried. For some reason, I was worried last week. Jordan Levitt as the milking of the week. I was a little worried, but he comes through with flying colors. This week, Weezy, again, we have a lot of options. We could see Kayla Harrison milk Juliana Pena. We could see Joe Pyfer milk Kelvin Gastelum. We could see Joshua Van milk Bruno Silva. We could see Sergey Spivac potentially milk Waldo Cortez-Acosta. We could see you milk Jekka Saragi. I mean, we have Quinlan Salkilld can potentially milk Ashmouz. We have so many options for milking of the week. What are we thinking for milking of the week here?
See, the one that I think is the easiest option is Kayla Harrison, but the scale worries me, man. You know, because we can make this pick now, but if the scale kills her, this could wind up going tits up for us.
Yeah, and I kind of like Van as well, but I also worry about his chin and his striking defense and Silva hitting him hard. I definitely worry about Spivac. So inconsistent. I think it's kind of got to be either Harrison or you, but Yu's making his debut, hasn't proven shit. Yeah, it's Harrison or you.
Harrison or Pyfer, dude. I mean, like, I think
Pyfer.
those are the ones.
Pyfer, I kind of more confident in Harrison, but the skill kind of worries me. We could do Pyfer.
Yeah, but I still think, like, even with before the scales, I think that Kayla's so good. I think she's on another level than the rest of the ladies in the division. And if Kayla makes weight, I just see there being 23% takedown defense for Juliana Pena is going to be a bad statistic against somebody as dominant as Kayla Harrison on the mat.
All right. I agree. All right. Let me make it official then. Okay. All right. The moment everybody's been waiting for. The Stat Diggers milking of the week. Kayla Harrison to bring out the milking table and milk Juliana Pena. So much milk. 2%. What a mess. Let's go.
What a mess.
Well, that's what we're going to be saying at the end of the fight. What a mess.
Get the sham wow out. There's too much milk on the canvas.
What a mess. What a mess. All right. So what are you guys thinking here? Pyfer, Pipes, Calvin. We could see it. See it. Okay. We want milk. Yes, milk. Why would I milk Jack? I don't know. I don't know. For some Jack and milk. Oh God. Does pipe mean knockout and milk mean sub? Kind
of, but not necessarily.
Carlos Leal knocked out Morono, and it was still a milking because he kind of milked him for everything he had. Like at the end of the fight, Morono can barely stand. He was so exhausted. Milk kind of means you like have your way with him, right? Like
exactly.
Whereas a piping, you don't have your way, you just destroy him. Quite frankly, you destroy him. Pena's getting milked. Queso will be close by. Merab definitely milking Sean, but Sean might be a fighter. Disgusting. I'll bring the cook. Now that's disgusting. Undefeated. Hey, it's on the line. Yes. 11-0. We're looking to go 12-0. Let's see if we can keep it rolling. It all comes down to Kayla Harrison. But Weezy, we did it. We are about 3 hours in. Any final thoughts on the card? And then also let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, no final thoughts on the card other than I'm really looking forward to it. And you can find me on X at MMA Weezy. You can find me on YouTube under the channel Uncle Weezy. And then you can find my probability stats and content package on oddsshopper.com. $25 a month gets you access to these matchup stats, individual fighter stats, over-under betting models, prop betting models, in-depth fight write-ups, 4 hours of subscriber-only content with a full card breakdown show and a prop betting show. All that's the best way to support my work. Thank you guys for supporting us. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe on your way out. Thank you, Avery.
Yes.
For supporting this show, for sponsoring this show. You guys all owe Avery a little bit of a debt of gratitude because he's the one keeping this show going and making sure that we get to show up every week and get a little bit of something for it. So thank you so much to Avery. Thank you guys for watching, for supporting. And let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC 316. I'm sick of this losing streak, Brady. It's time to circle the fucking wagons, put a beating on these bookies this weekend, and get back on a winning streak.
And it all starts with 5 units on... Oh, I don't know. 5 units to win 1 on Mirzakhanov? I don't know. We'll see.
No, on the Korean kid. 5 units to win 1. What could go wrong?
On the Korean kid, yes. Let's do it. Let's do it. The parlay is the under 4.5 in the Harrison fight, parlayed with the Kevin Holland money line there. And so number 1 spot on the community thing, yeah, it's shout out to Will. So I guess Will's picking up the tab for the whole chat.
Let's go.
Drinking milk all night. Heck yeah. Cheers, boys. Going to milk myself to
There you go.
That's sick. Cheers, Avery. Cheers, boys. Cheers to you as well. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys could do me a favor, like on your way out, subscribe on your way out as well. Be on the lookout for my full card breakdown and prediction video, which will be out tomorrow. And I also did I posted a recap for last night's card. If you want to check that out, kind of want to do that, make that a kind of a weekly thing, kind of like a fun, kind of like a fun show. Maybe shit on some performances a little bit. I think that'd be fun and other things. But yeah, guys, best of luck for UFC 316. We'll talk to you guys later. See you.